What is going on, everybody? It is 7 p.m. on Thursday. This is the Triple Threat Bet Podcast. I'm Ty Cobb. Hope everybody's having a good day. If you want to get on the show and tell your story, like, share, subscribe, and follow, and hit us up on email with triplethreatbets@gmail.com. And then I want to be sure that I think our last week's guest, Chris Luna, came on, told some great stories. Navy corpsman, veteran advocate, K9s, spoke highly about K9s and everything, and how Astros had an effect on his post life. But before I turn it over to Matt and Al, I want to say who we're having on the show today. R.O. Sumez, Unemployed Philosopher Guild, Deep State University. So he says on his headline here, it says that he's a man with opinions. So we're looking forward to getting into the conversation. But before we do that, let's see what's going on with Matt Johnson.
Well, it's Thursday and I'm here. I will tell you that I miss not being live in person in the same place, but it's always good to be here on a Thursday, irregardless. Thank you everybody for joining. Also, just another reminder, we do sell shit and they're called t-shirts. So go buy some t-shirts that are the Wax Poetic, the Mr. Phenomenal, or the most popular and highest in demand, almost sold out whiskey stories. Just kidding. And we can help a nonprofit get some money at the end of the year. So go out there, take a look at it, sameflagsameoath.com. We'd love for you to do it. Just want to say hi to everybody that's joined, and I can't wait for a great show today. And with that, scan the QR code, go buy some shit, and then we'll see what old Hero has to say about that.
Not much. Just buy some shit. You've already said it. You said enough. But no, I do want to say this. So my wife's been out of town for this week. So I'm playing daddy duty, which is I'm really not good at it. Right. Like she's fed. She fed. I bought her McDonald's. So I fed her some fucking poison tonight for dinner. But here's my issue. So I've been taking her to school in the mornings and picking her up in the afternoons from school. Bro, car line etiquette. There's some damn stupid motherfuckers in the state of Florida in the car line. They send out emails every week and say, hey, don't get out your car. Keep your ass in your car. Keep the line moving. There's a lady. I don't know. This motherfucker can't read. I don't know what's going on. But she gets out the car in the line, holding the line up, hugs all her kids, kisses them all, gives them fucking, I don't know if she's giving them like Bill Belichick pep talks in their ear. But bro, this morning, I swear, I felt losing it and just jumping the curb and running her and her fucking kids over. And then there's a guy in the afternoons that give you these little placards. You hang in your fucking rear view with your kid's name on them. You stay your ass in your car. You pull up. They call it out on a walkie-talkie. They unlock the door. They let your kid out. They put him in the car. You drive the fuck off. This dude and his wife, for one, they're fucking goofies already. Like, they look goofy as fuck. They look like hippies. I don't even know. They're probably from Washington State. Anyway. But these motherfuckers get out their car and walk with their placard. The placard that hangs on the fucking rear view. They walk up to the front of the fucking line from way in the back and show the fucking people this placard, and they get their kid. Now, maybe they're just smart. Maybe they're fucking geniuses. And they're like, but then they go get back in line, bro. I swear, I'm glad we were on school property and you can't have guns in school. I was so heated this afternoon because I'm watching this motherfucker in my rear view get back in his car, 25 carloads behind me. So he's probably pretty smart. And then pull the fuck out of line and take off. I'm like, bro, just follow etiquette. You stupid ass Floridians, they're probably not from Florida. For one, they probably got California tags or New York tags, probably. Because, you can't drive. They don't have cars in New York, so can't nobody in New York drive. Keep your fucking ass in your car. That's all I'm going to say. Stay in the fucking car. Period.
Yeah, but they thought it was like going to the airport, and they just would hold up the sign in front of the thing, and they're waiting for the kids to come through school security. We're here to pick up Bobby Lee and Suey Joe. They get in their car and go by, and they saw you getting all mad, and I guarantee that lady was like, dumb motherfucker, and they drove right by you.
Well, I leave my house early to be like early in the line, so I can get my kid get the fuck on. I got to get back to work, so I got to get back, back to the house. Bro, that dude I seen him walking in. My wife told me, and I was like, nah, there's no way. This dude literally walked up with this. I mean, the placard's big as fuck. I should have brought it in. The big ass placard that hangs on your rear view, and he's walking up with his shit, just skipping everybody. That's damn. And maybe he's just smarter than all the rest.
And now everybody tomorrow is going to get out of their car and walk up to the door.
You gonna don't then watch the news. I'm gonna be all over the fucking news. I'm gonna be in the news.
So Carlos Calzada's in the house.
Hey.
Carlos Calzada's in the house. What's going on, my brother?
Carlos, it's I follow the fucking rules. And I'm not really a rule follower for the most part. That's Matt. I'm really not known to be the rule follower, but I follow the rules because they sent an email and the email stated, stay your fuck ass in your car.
Yeah, but you was in super visible public. That's why you was following the rules.
It's a Christian school too. Hey, it's a fucking private school. So I'm in my truck saying all kinds of words. Like I hope can't nobody hear me because I'm motherfucking everybody. And
God heard
him and Jesus heard me.
He did.
God heard me in my truck raising hell, threatening to kill everybody, threatening to burn shit down. We'll kill this motherfucker, burn his truck down, kill his wife.
So here's the question:
stab his kids.
Did Kinsey get in the car and be like, Dad, what is wrong with you?
Oh, bro, no, because the first 2 days I picked her up, I hear the lady on the walkie-talkie talking about Kinsey Hero. I hear her call my daughter's name, and I'm slowly inching up to the front of the line where I'm the first car, and they're like, just stay there, and I'm fucking people are driving around me, and I'm waiting on my daughter. I'm getting fucking livid. Like, where the fuck is she at? Don't she know her fucking name? And then she gets in the truck. I'm an asshole. I'm like, problem? Like. What are we doing? What the fuck were you waiting on? What was going on? What was so important in middle school that you couldn't get your fuck ass to the church? She's like, my teacher had her walkie-talkie off. I'm like, yo, stupid ass fucking teacher. It's the end of the day. Cut the fucking walkie, bro. I was so April will be back on Monday, so I don't have to deal with this fuckery and debauchery that goes
Kinsey's already called and said, Mom, you are not allowed to leave this house in the school year.
Nah, she was quiet. My brother came last night, and I might have had one too many. Went to bed late, had to get up at 5 a.m. to take her to school. Bro, I didn't make no breakfast this morning. I was like, we'll just go by Starbucks. I got her a fucking muffin and a coffee, one of them pink drinks, like whatever the fuck was it. Let me get a pink drink and a muffin. Like I sent her to school. But her lunch this morning, I was like, how you feel about Hot Pockets? I was in the freezer. I didn't make no sandwich. Fucking Hot Pockets, some potato chips and some fruit snacks. Fuck out
That's what I'm talking about, homie.
You're not good at this. Where's Mom?
Yeah, where's Mom? My daughter got home, was like, I ain't have nothing but candy in my lunchbox.
Hey, before we go any further,
wanted to be my friend.
I wanted to be sure and shout out Rich LaMonica for sending the coin for the Misfit Nation. Appreciate that, Rich. Rich LaMonica with the Misfit Nation podcast up at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, playing with some drones, training our infantry guys. It is cool. I mean, tell people where you got that coin.
This is from the Home Front Sit Rep podcast. David Willis sent it over. It glows in the dark. It's pretty cool. So the on-air part glows in the dark. So it's a pretty tough coin. It's a bottle opener.
All right. So
yeah, you got you one too? Okay. Yeah, I like it. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and then while we're showing coins,
okay.
And just a shout. Hold on, one more shout out. This is the Danny Dietz coin for everybody knowing. Albert Hero is going to be cooking live at the Danny Dietz here in a couple weeks, man.
Legend with Carlos, the master, with the legend Carlos.
I just heard both of you say, challenge accepted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where's the triple threat vet coin?
I'm just saying. I heard challenge accepted.
Well, I mean, I'll design the shit out of a coin, and then you can master it, Matt. I mean, I'll design one just so I can say I had a part in it, and then you can master it and make all the right decisions. I'll send you a design here in a couple days.
Well, I'm ready. I have a guy already that can make them for us. Better known. Let's go. We'll shout him out when he makes them. Maybe he'll give us a discount. He better.
There you go.
Just do some Illuminati shit on our coin and put like a nipple somewhere where you don't see it. Like you got to look real close.
It's glow in the dark too.
Like just an areola. Just find some Illuminati, like the all-seeing eye. Put like a fucking just a little nipple, something cool, like some Illuminati.
The all-seeing nipple.
Yeah, some fucking diamonds. Like do something cool.
Well, anyway. Enough about us having fun. That's not what we're here today for. You know, we're here to talk to another amazing guest, Al. I know this is a guy that you know very well. So I would like to leave the floor to you, my friend, to go ahead and give us another little quick introduction. I know Al talked about RL briefly, but give us a little bit of introduction so we can bring him in and get this thing started.
Outside of me saying he's an amazing human being and a mentor and somebody who one of the many, one of the few that took care of me, like Jovan and Mike Carr and some people in battalion when I got there as a young loudmouth fucking idiot. Now I'm just old loudmouth idiot, but mentored and helped develop me and me under his wing and help me out, take care of me. I really want Ty to kind of go through and read a little bit of his bio. I mean, it's a long bio, but I'm going to do him disservice if I just ramble on about how great he is, because he fucking is. So
yeah, absolutely. I was going to read the bio too, but so Al sent me the bio the other day, and I'm reading it. I'm like, holy shit, this dude's got a blended life from a very early age. So he was born in '78 at Fairchild Air Force Base.
Year.
Yeah, in Spokane, Washington. Spent his first 6 years as a military brat in Hawaii and Texas. And then he moved to Philadelphia with his mom and sister in 1985. And then he would live with different family members. This is something we'll talk about, because he's lived in different family members in Philadelphia, Okinawa, Louisiana. And then when he was 14, he reconnected with his father, and then went to Guam, North Dakota, Kansas. And then his father's deployments in 95 sent him back to Philly, where he finished high school in 97. And then he joined the military as a way for a sense of adventure and a way out. So he joined the Navy with an airman crew option, then ended up being a CB. When he was reclassed, he was medical mixed diagnosis, and became a CB. And then there he went to Guam, Spain, Albania, Kosovo, Bahrain, Gabon, Djibouti, and England. So he was an okay builder, but he decided he wanted to jump ship and become a CAF scout in the Army. So this gentleman has served in the Army and the Navy. So he's got the best of both worlds there. Basic training. He went to basic training in the Army with a former friend from his Navy life. So that's cool as fuck. Did a lot of things in the military, in the Army, and then went civil affairs, special operations, MOS 38 Bravo, deploying to Afghanistan, Senegal, Niger, Mauritania, Nigeria, to Chad. Went to SEER school. I've never even heard of Mauritania. He's going to have to tell me what that is. I thought I'd been everywhere. Been a language school, advanced armors courses. So he actually says he's a liberal with guns. So like, he's got some opinions, and I can't wait to hear it. Bachelor's and master's degree while on active duty. I mean, he's a high achiever, man. And then worked for the State Department with USAID as an intelligence contractor. And he's dealt with depression. You know, he's had to change his diet. He considers himself center left on politics, and he's been unaffiliated since 2008. 5 children, 1 left in the home. So he's a Philadelphia sports fan. The gym's very therapeutic for him, and he just wants to be a good human. So without further ado, let's bring him on. R.L. Sumez.
Hey, that word you said earlier, that's a STD. I've had it twice. Like that.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say it was a wooden building on the corner with a red light.
Yeah, I've been there twice.
It burns, Happy.
Shit burns.
Wow. Yeah, it does. Wow. Ty,
Yeah, so either way, very impressive, brother. Very impressive bio.
Damn, hearing it, I'm like, damn. I guess I did that. That shit sounds really cool when you said it. So we'll start, and you'll see, I guess, how all that works. Because I think I was a kid, like a lot of us who are in our end. I had a lot of misdiagnosed ADHD, so I probably caught a lot of ass whippings growing up when I shouldn't have. When I probably just need to be outside and playing. So, but that kind of gave me like this just desire to do everything or be part of everything.
Yeah.
So, like you said,
where were you born?
I was born in Spokane. Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
But somewhere between 1978 August and my first birthday, my parents came up on orders to Hawaii. So my first conscious memories would be in Hawaii, right, at Hickam Air Force Base. And then my mother and father, they divorced when I was about 3 or 2. No, but I don't have any conscious memories of my mother and biological father ever being married. My mother remarried a guy that for the first, we'll say, 7 years of my life was who I called dad, you know? And we went to Texas. And then, they divorced. And then when they divorced, my mother and my sister and my mother's originally from Philadelphia. We went back to Philadelphia. So I went back to Philadelphia in 1985. It was a very interesting time going back, because that's when the crack really hit the city hard. So all the things that come with like the crack epidemic, no fathers in the home, over policing of communities, and just a real burnout, like poverty style life, right? The ironic thing about that is that if you grow up poor, if you grow up in a certain circumstance, you don't even realize you're poor. It wasn't until I came in the military and dealt with other people and realized, oh shit, that wasn't normal. Or I also realized there's people poorer than me. I remember my rack mate in boot camp in the Navy, he was from West Virginia. And I remember asking him why, everybody says, why you joined the military? And he said he joined the military because he never saw the ocean. He was like, well, why would you join the Navy? And from what he said, because he wanted to see the ocean. And I thought that was it's just one of those things because how I grew up and where I lived, I had seen the ocean. I was like, wow, there's a guy who never, in his sole purpose in life to be undesignated seaman or wherever he was at, just because this kid wanted to see the ocean. So, but let me take it back. So, living in that kind of environment, you don't realize how toxic and tragic it is till you become an adult and realize where you don't want to raise your own kids. But because of those things and just the way we lived and the things I saw growing up, I bounced around. I think I realize now that I'm older, my mother's desire was for me not to. She didn't want the city to consume me. That's what her fear was. And she said that to me, like her fear was that the city would destroy her son. Because there's a fear that like despair loves nobody, the dream killers are always active. So in that, I always had a strong relationship with my grandparents, and my grandparents at the time lived in Louisiana. So going back to about the time I was 5 years old, I would still go visit my grandparents, my dad's parents in Louisiana, and I would stay with them. And then so when I was like in the third grade, I went to go live with my grandparents in Louisiana. And at the time, my biological father was stationed in Okinawa. And he didn't like me living with his parents because he felt like his job as my father, I should be with him, which was great. So at 8 years old, I get on a plane, I fly to Okinawa. It's great. I'm going to school at Kadena Elementary School. Anybody, if there's any military brats or any Air Force brats living in here. KES, right? So that's about a year in third grade. And then now that I'm older, I realized there was probably some behind the scenes stuff between my mother and father. So I wound up going back to Philadelphia in fourth grade. Live with my aunt, didn't really, live with my mother's mother, my grandmother in Philly. So then we moved forward. I got in a lot of trouble. Like I said, I had a lot of misdiagnosed ADHD, but in the 80s, the answer was to whip that was the answer, right? Without somebody like really understanding, why is this kid so active? Why is this kid bouncing off the walls? Why can't he sit still? So now I think they have things in school where teachers work with you. They try to get to figure you out, shit like that. But when you're a poor kid and you live in inner city, you go to, if you can't sit in regular class, you go to like behavioral classes. And that's almost like a pipeline. Once you're in behavioral classes, you're kind of tagged and labeled. So now that I'm older, I realized my mother understood that. So that was her job, like sending me at different schools, because from a aptitude standpoint, I always read above grade. I was always above grade when it came to just the scholastic part. But when it was time to just do the kid shit or sitting in class, I wasn't sitting still. I wouldn't behave. And I think a lot of that came from just boy energy. Now that I'm older, I look at that like, what 7-year-old boy is supposed to sit still all goddamn day?
No,
that's almost criminal. The whole concept that like we're all adults, us. So if you need a break from work, you take it. You wake up, say, "No, I'm not going in today. I need a personal day." But when you're 7, 8, 9, who gives you the personal day?
Right. You need to go because I need you out of this house all day because I need a break. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And
so,
as parents, go ahead.
Just real quick, going back. So moving to all the different places, and it sounds like when you got back with your mom, you were still bouncing between different places. Is that so you could go to the different schools, or is there a different reason for that?
No. So yeah. So what I learned now, 7, 8, 9, I didn't understand this. I just thought, I would come home one day and my mom would say, "Okay, hey, you're gonna go stay with with a cousin, right? You're gonna go to school with them. Oh, it's a better school for you. Okay, maybe it is, right?" But what I learned is that I think they would call it IEP or SPEDS or 504 plans. But in the 80s, you were just labeled as a problem child, right? So being a problem child, my mother didn't want me to have like those associated labels. Like my mother didn't want me to know what the school was saying. Like I remember going home a few years ago, cleaning out my mother's basement, and I read some report cards from when I was like 8 years old. And I'm so glad that at 8, I didn't know the concept what these little MF teachers were saying. Like, you can really kill a child's spirit the way you talk about a child, in the little comment section on the report card.
Yeah.
Like, I'm 8 years old. I'm not supposed to sit still. I'm an 8-year-old boy. And I don't know. And because my mother
you was damn sure an honest kid, though. You didn't open none of them report cards. You just took them home.
No,
I'd have been opening it, trying to read what's in there. I didn't.
I did, but I don't think I conceptualize.
Yeah.
I'm 8-year-old, and to this day, I'll die on this hill. 8-year-olds aren't supposed to sit still all day. If you're a teacher, you're supposed to engage these 8-year-olds at an 8-year-old level, right?
Yep.
Sort of like all of us are retired senior people in the military. Yes, we get in the E3's ass for messing up, but we also recognize he's an E3. Like how we say in the military, that's a leadership challenge. If your junior troops are routinely behind on something, part of it is their problem, but a lot of that is their first line.
Yeah. The leadership is 60 to 70% of the problem. The 30% that's keeping them from getting the job done is just no sense of direction, no clear way to do it, no planned out roadmap of this is how I want you to do the thing. And so a lot of the times you're right. You can find what the issue is by asking the leader, like, how are you guys doing this anyway? No wonder these ABC don't know what the hell to do. You're not explaining to them how you want them to do it.
You all you do is yell. All you do is scuff them up. All you do is write paperwork. Like, have you ever went and talked to them and said, okay, where's the disconnect, troop? I don't know, right? So I realized that now that I'm older, that was going on. But at my age, I didn't. I just knew that, like, I was just moving around, So that, I think, it gave me like it made me more introspective a lot, right? So as I matured and got older, I learned, like, not to talk, not to really engage people, to kind of almost be like behind the wall, right?
Well, I have a question for you real quick before you, just on that very point. So as I'm reading your bio, I'm relating to a lot of this stuff. So moving all the time, having to deal with different family members, different rules, different houses. Do you mind? I mean, if you don't mind, go into what it's like having to please the parent, the father, please the mother when you're staying there, please the uncle when you're staying there, please the stepfather, stepmother, because I had all this stuff too. And from reading from your bio, it just seems like you had this same thing, but I did it all in Corbin, Kentucky, or a very small area. You did it all over the fucking world as a military brat. So if you don't mind, just talk about how that dynamic, you said you had to learn to almost be a, what's it called?
Seen but not seen.
A code switcher. You had to be like a code switcher.
Very much so.
Yeah, go ahead.
Seen but not seen, but I think that's probably where my desire to read came from, right? Because one thing I could always have is books, right? Between the punishments, between the whatever was going on, like I would always have books so I could read. Like, I remember when we were younger and Pizza Hut used to give you, like, you'd sign like a piece of paper and you go get a free personal pan pizza. I was like God when that happened, man. I was getting personal pan pizzas left and right because I was like, all I gotta do is read a book. Let's get it, right? But to answer your question, I learned how to develop, I learned how to cope with laughter. Like, I will tell you, younger me, I was probably the life of the party, right? If there was some fun shit going on, I probably was part of it.
Facts.
In some sort of way. But what a lot
fucking facts.
But what a lot of people don't know is that was actually masking hurt. Like, as I got through mental health and realized a lot of those smiles was a hurt. That was hurt. But as long as people were laughing and smiling, then nobody was really questioning what's going on, right? That's why, like, I could empathize when, like, a comedian like Robin Williams takes his life, because you recognize a lot of his smile wasn't even genuine. That was his way to get through the world. And as long as people were laughing and smiling, then nobody was asking the hard questions. Nobody was digging into those uncomfortable spots, So like you're saying, so bouncing around, you learn how to be an actor, if you will. You learn how to play to the role you're at, right? but you also learn. So, but it's like I would never replicate these for my own children, but you understand in doing so, I think it gives me as an adult, I have a really easy disposition. I'm not so married to any one way of thinking that I can't understand another way. Or I can recognize, like, okay, I'm responsible for my own interpretations of life, but you're not held to the same rules. So if we disagree, we can disagree, and that's fine. It's not the end of the world because you see it different. So, but yeah, man, I caught a lot of hell, I think, growing up like that. And because I would go places, like I was with a relative one time and their wife had other kids, and for whatever reason, she didn't like me around. So I used to beat the shit out of me, right? And like all children, I probably did dumb shit, like, take the batteries out the back of a remote. I don't know why I did it. I'm a kid. I'm a boy, right? Why'd you throw a rock? Why'd you throw a bottle and break it? Because it was there. I had a BB gun. Why'd you shoot the cans? I mean, you're the adult. You gave me a BB gun. Why do you? Is anybody gonna ask that question? Why'd you give a 10-year-old a Crossman BB gun with fresh air cartridge? Of course, you shot up stuff. I mean,
you set this failure up long before it happened.
It goes back to us being E6s and E7s. Like, are we really mad because the soldier did something stupid? Like, come on, what did we think was going to happen?
Yeah, that's true. So going through, all of that piece, that was, would you say 8 or 9 is when you went back over there? Is that how old you were? So from 8 or 9 to 14, you were doing that back and forth and moving around?
Yeah. So in that, right, like I said, I didn't really have a great relationship with school. That's why sometimes it amazes me that I got the education I have, because I hated school, right? To the point, I give you a funny excuse. I get not insecure. I get anxiety if I have to go to my kids' school for whatever reason. Just the whole notion of being in school, I start
fucking feel your pain.
Listen, let me tell you, if I ever, let's say I go to bed and I dream the night and I'm like struggling with a decision. If I'm ever like facing major anxiety, I will dream that I'm in school. But the dream will be lucid enough that I will know that I graduated high school already. But for the sake of this dream, I am in school again. And I will wake up like in a fucked up place. I mean, it's funny now, but when you're in SEER school, they try to find out what your triggers are. Some people hate spiders. Some people hate enclosures. As long as I'm not in 3rd grade, I'm good. Like we joke when we were in SEER school. I was like, you want to get me to snap and tell secrets? Get my 3rd grade teacher to come in here. Get Sister Colette to come in here with her yardstick, and I'm snitching on everybody.
They turn around like, I don't even know what to do with this one. Like, what can we get her on the phone? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. I'm telling you. And then, so if you guys are my age, you remember back in the day, you could get left back in school, right?
Yeah.
So I got kicked out of 5th grade, which meant I had to go live in Louisiana because my mom really did the best she could, but I probably didn't. Like, I probably had a lot of misdiagnosed stuff that, some therapy would have helped my ass. But in the 80s, we just didn't do that. So I got kicked out of school in the 5th grade, went to Louisiana, lived with my grandparents for 2 years. And that was great because the school system in Louisiana was so much different than it was in Philadelphia. Like, in middle school,
it's fucking easy. You could have probably taught the class. You were the smartest motherfucker in the whole school, including the principal.
No,
Louisiana.
But in middle school, they had because I lived in Bossier City, Louisiana, right? With the Russian junior high, they had football. They had middle school sports.
Oh yeah.
In Philadelphia, you don't play sports till you get to high school.
Unless it's like in the park and in the community, right?
And then because of like Reaganomics, man, they took away all those shit. So like in the inner city, we didn't have like baseball leagues. Like when my mother was younger, they had like parks and recreation leagues. But like around the mid 80s, that shit went away.
Oh wow.
So there was nothing for kids to do but raise hell and be delinquent. But when I went to Louisiana, my grandparents we didn't live in the country, but it's Louisiana. There's country everywhere. So you could go out and be a boy. You could go out and roll your pants up and play in the creek or the bayou, right? We would catch shrimp. again, remember I had a Crossman BB gun, so we brought war to every squirrel and raccoon we saw. We would have BB gun wars to shoot each other, which is dumb kid shit. Like, I'm surprised I'm not blind, right? Like,
yeah, but what was the difference going there from being where you were? You probably weren't getting what were you thinking? You know, it's more like, well, maybe you should shoot straighter next time. And you're like, wait, what? Like, you're not mad that I was in a BB gun war? You know what I mean?
No, we had rock wars. And then if you did get hurt, we would be like, shh. My cousin would be like, shut up. You know, or we would go out. Yeah, like, so at like 8 o'clock in the morning, my grandmother's old school, we all had to get up and do chores, right? But by 10 o'clock, we had to leave. And we weren't allowed to come home before like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So you only knew something happened to the kids if the kid didn't show up at like 6 in the evening, then the adults would start asking questions. So you could have been floating face down in the Red River some goddamn where, and nobody would have known. So there's some honest fun in there, but as parents now, we probably wouldn't do that either. You know what I mean?
Well, I just think the times between then and now are just so much different that you had trust in the communities that were around you, where you didn't fear your kids going out and having to worry about all the craziness they have now, right? They were allowed to go out there and do that.
They were, but remember, Matt, I think we also had but that was a big deal. Remember the milk carts started having fixtures on it.
Yeah, damn serial killers and shit in the 80s and fucking early 90s. Everybody was fuck rapists.
And my mom used to brainwash us that everybody wanted to like run and touch your butt. Like, my mom brainwashed us that everybody was a stranger and there was no good that they wanted out of it. And if you got too close to them.
Bro, I raised my daughter like that to this day. Like, my daughter knows. Like, last night, my brother, he's her uncle. He's in the house. But because he's loud and like he had been drinking and like a friend of ours named Jason, who I've known since like high school, he was with my brother. My daughter went to bed, locked her door, put the fucking dog in the room with her, text my wife. My wife's like, Kenzie, just so you know, she locked her door. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, she was just worried because there's strange people in the house. I'm like, her fucking family? Like, what the fuck is going on? I really ruined her. Like, she locked her fucking. This morning when I woke her up, I was jiggling the hand like, hey, you gonna open the door? Like, yeah, bro. So I still raise my kid like that.
Yeah, hey, and what's not talked about too in a lot of families is like there's always that one weirdo uncle. So like we had to like when like certain Trump family members came around, we had to go in the room, and so it's a very interesting time. Like I said, I got left back in middle school because back in the 80s you could get left, or the 90s you could get left back if you didn't do your work. So 7th grade, I do 7th grade twice, right? So I moved back to Philadelphia after 6th grade. I moved from Louisiana to Philadelphia at 6th grade, went to 7th grade, got left back in 7th grade. So I did 7th grade twice in Philly. And that was around the time when 8th grade started. My mom and dad, I don't know if they reached out and became friends, but I think my mom, I know through my grandparents in Louisiana, which was my dad's parents, they were pretty much telling my father, you need to get your boy. Like, you know, he's 14, he's at that age. You need to get your boy. So I remember beginning of 8th grade, I went to school for like 2 months in Philadelphia. And then I got on a plane and went to Guam. And that was great. And I mean, I had a blast. I mean, all that thing, I had a blast. Just like being, you know, boys need fathers. I'll stand on that one. I'll die on that hill, right? And I understand through life choices, and sometimes people live in houses where parents are where parents divorce. But if there's not a father in a male's life, then there needs to be an uncle, a grandfather, a big brother. There needs to be some sort of role model, because there's certain, like, how a man interacts in society can only be taught by another man who interacts in society type deal.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, preach.
There's no amount of parenting books. Listen, I remember, because I have custody of my kids from my first marriage, right? One of my fears before I had got remarried was that I could take my daughter and teach her how to be a great human being, be a decent citizen, be a kick-ass American, but I can't teach her how to be a woman. I remember, and that was a parental concern of mine. Like, I was scared as a father, like, Like with my sons, I got this. They're gonna be kick ass here. They're gonna be great men. But my daughter, excuse me, how the heck do I teach her to be a decent human, but also teach her how to be a woman? Because I'm not a woman. I don't face things in the world the way a woman would face it. So that was one of my criteria when I got remarried. Like, that I see my daughter mimicking your behaviors.
So what was the difference for you in going from being in Philadelphia with your mom and your cousins and everybody there to now being with your dad? I know you said, every boy needs a father. I agree with that 100%. But what was it like to go to Guam and then be by your dad and go through those later years in school with your dad and growing up basically on DOD installations, especially being in Guam and, going to DOD schools where everybody's, in the same boat, basically.
I'm going to tell you all a story. Any of y'all ever been to Guam? So Guam, there's a DOD middle school. There's a DOD school in Guam now. You guys know the story how that happened?
Nope.
Because in 91, 92, 93, there was no DOD schools. You went to the local school in the area, right? The badass kids from Anderson Air Force Base got into a big fight at FB Leon Guerrero Middle School. It is big, and we all got locked up for like a couple weeks in juvenile hall. And that kind of put the pressure because there was a couple kids whose fathers were like 05s and 06s. And of course, my dad's an E7. They'll lock my stupid ass up. They don't care. But when you're like squadron commander's son and you got to go to juvenile hall because you were fighting, it puts eyes on some things. So when I deployed to Guam in 98 and saw that they had opened a DOD school, I felt the measure of, I did that. That's me. Like, you guys remember the sticker when Biden was president? It was like the dude pointing. They used to put him on the gas station. It was like, I did that. I was like, I need to have me like, I did that.
You go.
But Guam with my father was great. I think it was a great time at 14.
I fucking love Guam. I loved it. Club
but
USA, Club Viking, man.
I loved it too as an E3, but as a dependent, it was great. The relationship with my father was really, it was interesting because my father, I have two brothers with my father, but obviously we have different mothers, and they were younger than me. So my father was used to parenting like little kids. So then a 14-year-old shows up. There's certain ways you parent me that don't work with, like, I don't know, a 7-year-old. By 14, you're kind of like, I'm not necessarily on autopilot, but you're more now like parenting from a place of like, these are your left and rights. If you do this, these are the consequences, because you don't need to show me how to do things. You need to show me how to do some things, but I have an alarm clock. I don't need you to wake me up. If you don't cook, so long as there's food in the refrigerator, we're not going to starve.
Yeah. A lot of trust, but verify at 14, though. A lot of trust and verify.
And I did a lot of stupid. Listen, he said being a dependent was different because in Philadelphia, we were exposed in Philadelphia like to criminal element, right? You didn't recognize it as criminal element to the extent of just how like bad it is, but it was criminal element because you knew it was criminal element. Being a military brat at 14 on a base, you do age appropriate stuff. Like we sneak out at night, we sneak out to the beach, we climb the fence and go to the base pool at 2 a.m. Where if you did get caught, you just get yelled at. But if you got caught in Philadelphia breaking and entering somewhere, you probably got a charge. But it was very necessary in my development. My mother definitely says she saw a change in me when I came back, because like my father being a male was like, okay, you're 14. You need to go get a job. So at the commissary, I bag groceries at the commissary. You guys know the kids that have the little white shirt and
hustling for them dollar tips, bro.
Yeah, man. Listen. I made great. Hell, I'd say even great money for today. There's a couple times I had $200-$300 for on like a payday weekend, bagging groceries.
Yeah.
So there was a certain level of like, my dad had expectations, whereas maybe my mom might have like raised hell and like hit me and all that. My pop was just an asshole, and that was it. Right? It's just a different.
Well, I think there's like that mentality, with your mom. Your mom is going to raise hell, and she's going to be, like on you about the shit that you're doing wrong. She's going to harp on those things you're doing wrong. But when it comes time to tote the line and hold the accountability, in some cases, mom just doesn't want to do that. Whereas dad don't give a shit. We're going to stay on this line. We're going to go toe to toe. We're going to argue about it every day. And I don't give a shit how you feel about it, but I'm going to let you know how I feel about it. And like, there's more of a willingness to stand there and stay eye to eye on it and make sure that the other end is seen versus, I don't know, I guess you'd call it giving in sometimes. Like, I'm still going to complain all the time, but some kids are like, she's just going to yell for a little bit. It'll be all right. But then if it's your dad, you're like, oh shit, this is
my dad was an asshole.
Yeah.
In the best asshole way a father's supposed to be, right? I got one memory in Guam. So you guys remember when Snoop Dogg had the Gin and Juice song, right? So they were rapping the song, right? And my dad was like, what do you know about gin and juice? So now I'm lying, right? I'm like, yeah, man, we drink. He said, you tried gin before? Hell yeah. This is what I didn't say hell yeah, but I was like, yeah, with my friend, blah, 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 blah. So my dad said, you should do a shot with me. Of course. I don't drink gin to this day for that very reason. Prior to this, I had never had gin. I couldn't tell you what gin tastes like. But I knew the rappers talked about it. My dad heard me. He gave me a shot of Tanqueray. If you're a gin drinker, you really hate your life. Or if you drink gin, you should probably talk to somebody. I remember.
It's gross. It is gross. I can't even smell it. Like my mouth's watering thinking about smelling gin. I fucking hate gin, bro.
I'm 14. I took a shot. I didn't even drink it. That shit came right back out. My dad starts laughing. He's like, no, I thought you drank gin. I was like, I don't drink gin. I don't drink gin no more. He did that with gin, and there was another one, bourbon. For those two reasons, I cannot do bourbon because he's like, yeah, you want to try a sip of this? And just the smell of bourbon. And I remember it's like, you all actually like this?
Hell yeah, we do. Sorry.
Yeah, I've been drinking bourbon since I was 18.
Love it.
So you're from Kentucky, so yeah.
When
I was in the Army, I took my soldiers. We went to the where's the one going towards Ohio? It's a distillery out there.
Bardstown.
We just one day I told my Joes, I said, hey, listen, we're gonna fuck off for PT on Friday. We're gonna go to the distillery. Let's go. So we drove like 2 hours from Fort Knox all the way out there. Had like a team dinner out there. It was kind of cool though, but we'll get to that part. So,
cool. So what was going through your brain, right?
That part we're 45 minutes in, not even talked about the military yet. I knew it was going to be a good show. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was going to say, you're at that point where your dad, you're like, yeah, I do all this stuff. And the point in both of those instances, well, obviously you didn't learn the first time that he was going to call you on it, right? Because you did it again, probably. And when he goes, all right, drink some. In front, you were like, I'll do it. But were you like, uh-oh, like,
no, because I know my dad's crazy. I know my fucking dad was crazy. I knew he's crazy. But crazy in a good way, right? So, I don't know what I thought, but he called me out, so I have to drink it, right? Because he'll know I'm a punk if I don't drink it. So I'd rather him respect me.
Man, it looked worse when you spit it out because he got to laugh at you. You know what I mean? He was like, okay.
He was like, clean it up, son. Just clean it up.
Yeah.
And so then that was like joke. He would say, hey, you want a drink? I'm like, no, I'm good.
Well, see, that was the thing, with our kids, man. I used to tell them all the time. I'm like, you can try a beer at home or you can have a drink at home all you want. I don't care. 100%. And when they would go with friends to places and their friends are like, let's go drink and do this and do that. My kids were like, I mean, I'm good. And they're like, what? They're like,
yeah.
If I want to do it, I'm just going to go home and I can do it at home as much as I want. And their friends are like, for real? And they're like, yeah, like my parents and for a lot of it, neither one of them were ever like that I know of. I'm sure there's times, but it was always, do you want? They were like, no. And even now they're very responsible with that. And I think it's because we didn't we didn't try to hide it from them. You know what I mean? We didn't try to say, off limits, it's bad, don't do it, you can't do it. It's like, if you want to try, you can try it as long as you're here. But if you go somewhere else and do it, they also knew in those days, we'll come get you. I won't ask shit, and we'll talk about it tomorrow, right?
No, my dad and my mother was always part of that. You had to have a quarter on you when you went out the house, right? Because back when we had payphones.
We needed a quarter to call someone who cares.
Or 1-800 call ATT. Mom, come pick me up.
And then you get in trouble because you used collect call.
You have a collect call from Mama Ray to go on 53rd Street.
Yeah.
But so unfortunately, my dad, he now struggles with a lot of chemical dependency, which is one reason why I don't drink. But at the time, I didn't know. So my dad was a boom operator in the Air Force, which is a in-flight refueler. So like a lot of aviators, they're alcoholics, And I think my dad was functional for his time in the military because so long as you show, like when you're an aviator, they don't fuck around. They'll pull your quals and they'll ground you in a minute. Like if you stub your toe and go to the flight doctor, hey, I got my toe hurts, ace. So they're able to like be functional. I never saw my father drink to the point of being drunk till I was an adult and out of I'm grown with kids now. So I say that because in the realm of him growing up, like he said, there were never no secrets with stuff like alcohol or sex or any of that. I remember being like 15 or 14 and I'm lying. My dad's like, you out here having sex? I'm like, yeah, man, I stay having it. I'm a virgin as hell, right? To the point that I remember first time I made out with a girl, my stepmom had picked up the telephone and overheard me and the girl talking. So she tells my dad, and my dad sits me down. But you could tell the way he was talking to me is because my stepmom thought it was a problem. He was like,
yeah. Your mom's making me talk to you about this stuff.
More or less. And when I was 16, my dad bought me a box of condoms and was like, this is the first and only time I will ever buy you condoms. If you're too embarrassed to go buy condoms, you don't need to be fucking. So like how you were saying, Matt, when my daughter, my oldest, was 16, we had a cookout. I was stationed in Fort Bragg at the time. And I told, matter of fact, Mike was at the house and everything. And I remember telling my wife, I'm gonna let my daughter have a couple of drinks.
Right, Mike?
No, Mike.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about your brother, Mike. Okay.
R.I.P. Mike.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Okay,
Mike.
gotcha.
It'll be 10 years this year, Mike.
Yeah, bro. It's crazy.
Damn.
It's crazy.
We'll talk about that too. So but with so we at the house and Mike is the guy I joined the Army with that we were in the Navy with, I mean, Mike took his life in 2015.
15. Yeah.
Not April, September 2015. September the 23rd, right after the whole 22 a day thing came out.
Mm-hmm.
But Mike was at the house, so I told my wife, listen, I'm going to give my daughter a drink so we can see. And, of course, other family members well, why would you give her a drink? I was like, first of all, it's my fucking house and it's my child. But second of all, I want to be able to tell when my daughter comes home drunk so you can see how they work, right? And I'd rather her be drunk here than get a phone call that my 15 or 16-year-old is somewhere, or because kids will panic because she alcohol poisoned, just whatever things happen with kids, right? And so I support that too. My kids can have a drink here. So, and same as with firearms. I taught my kids firearms, and my mom is typical liberal. She's scared of the thought of guns, right? All my kids have seen firearms since about the time they're about 7 or 8. To the point that I showed them how to, because I don't ever want them to be at somebody else's house and some kids yo, you want to see my dad's gun? I want my kids to know, no, we don't touch guns. We don't play with guns. And if they should see one, they know how to handle one and be like, hey, you know what I mean? I don't need my kids staying at night at Johnny's house and because kids are nosy and they snoop and they find Johnny's dad's gun. And now Johnny wants to show my son, hey, check out this gun. My kids need to be like, no, my dad's got tons of guns. That don't do nothing.
Yeah. Not impressed. Right? Not impressed.
That's what your dad has? Oh, you have a mom. You have 2 moms.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Sorry,
it?
can I say that? I don't know what I'm saying. But
I mean, you can today.
right? So high school. So now I moved to high school, and I go back to Louisiana because my dad had. If you guys remember around time, this was the time when Haiti kicked off. So was this 94, 93? Yeah.
Yep, 94.
So my dad had to go to Haiti. So I went to go. I didn't want to go back to Philadelphia because my dad asked me. We were living in Minot at the time, and he asked me. He said, "Do you want to go back to Philadelphia with your mom?" And I was like, "I really don't," because I mean, I would go visit my mom for the summer, but by now I've gotten used to the life living with my dad. I get to be 14 or 15, whatever that means with my dad. But in the city, you have to adopt a whole different persona, right? Like it's like dog years. Like 15 in the suburbs is like 30 in the city. So I went to Louisiana for like my freshman year. Or like I started my freshman year in North Dakota, but finished it out in Louisiana. But I had lived in Louisiana before, so I knew people, and I mean that was interesting. But at that age, you really need your parents. Your grandparents can love you, but they're a lot older, and I got away with a whole lot of shit because my grandparents they're just older by now. They're in their, I don't know, if I'm in my teens, my dad's like close to 40, so my grandparents are close to 60, a little over 60, right?
Yeah.
They're past their kid raising age. So
they're like, whatever, he'll make it home or he doesn't.
more or less. And because it's Louisiana, my grandfather taught me how to drive a stick at like 14. So he had this column stick like Chevy truck. Me and my cousin used to push the truck down the street and start that bitch around the corner. And we'd be out all night. And because my grandfather is old school generation, his exact words, he told me and my cousin, he said, if I ever wake up and you little N-words took my truck, you might as well keep it because I'm going to call it in stolen. And if you come home, I'm going to shoot you. So we used to take his truck and then we go joyride all over Northwest Louisiana into Texas. And then we bring the truck back and pull it in. And then my grandfather also had a little John boat, like our P-row, right? So, being a kid in this type of environment is great because I'm like, now that my grandfather's dead, I would love to go fishing with him right under the causeway, where like the bridges and the pylon goes in the water because that's where the bass live out, right? So things like that are the things that, being a city kid, we didn't do that. But being able to live in the country with my grandparents in Louisiana, or matter of fact, you guys know that noise. You're from Kentucky. When you wake up and you step outside, it's going to be hot because you can hear cicadas. You guys know the noise I'm talking about when you open the door. That's what Louisiana. Matter of fact, you're in Florida. That's what Louisiana sounds like when you open.
Florida sound like every day.
You hear them angry motherfuckers at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah.
But it's shit like that. So, but again, there's times we're hooking in high school in 9th grade. I should be in school because we went fishing, which is fun to tell that story. But 62-year-olds don't need to be raising teenagers because some of that shit's not going to fly with my dad. Or even if it is, I got to tell a different lie, Like I have to tell a lie on top of a lie on top of a lie because my father will be like, no, that sounds stupid. That story doesn't make sense. Try again.
Yeah, you're eventually going to get caught in that one, so you just might as well go to school, right? You know what I mean?
Right. Like, you know what? This crazy motherfucker. Like, I remember one time in the 10th grade, 11th grade, I had a girl coming over, right? We're going to hang out. And I remember just saying, like, no, let's go somewhere else. And I was like, no, because this crazy motherfucker like, my grandmother would call before she came home, right? Hey, I'm on my way home. You want me to stop at, old people.
Yeah, because she's
South.
in town.
Old people in the South love Ryans, right? It used to be So my grandmother would our Piccadilly, our Shoney's. So if I had a girl over the house in the 5th and the 9th grade, my grandmother would call on her way home. Hey, I'm gonna stop at Ryan's. Did you eat? And I'm gonna pick you up something. Well, by calling, you forewarned me. I know I got about 20 minutes to get this girl out the house. I used to tell people, no, my dad, this crazy motherfucker will just show up. We cannot hang out at my house because my dad has no problem just showing the hell up. He's not calling before he comes home. Like, hey, son, we got all, we're coming in early. You need me to pick you up? No, he just show up like, hey, get dressed. We're going to get something to eat. So it's just different rules like that, right?
Yeah. It's the courtesy. So now I'm curious. So I see that you went back to Philly to finish high school.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to find out, was your thought of joining the military because you stayed with your dad, or did you really think about doing that when you went back to Philadelphia? Was it something like, what am I going to do back here? Because I remember you saying, like, I loved visiting, but I wanted to get back to that environment. So what got you interested in joining the military?
So in 95, the Marine Corps had this program where they could say, like, if you were 17, because remember, I got left back 1 year, right? So I should have graduated in 96, but I graduated in 97. So in 95, Marine Corps had this thing where you could get if you were a dropout, you would go to basic, or you would go to boot camp and boot camp, whatever. And then before you could graduate your MOS school, you had to get your GED. Or before you could graduate boot camp, you had to get your GED. And around this time, typical teenage shit, my father was always, you need to have whatever I was not doing. I was destined to be a bum because I probably hung out with potheads and just whatever other 15, 16-year-olds do, right? I wasn't a bad kid, but I was just a kid. So I remember telling my dad, hey, I had the Marine Corps recruiter call the house. I told my dad, like, hey, the Marine Corps got this program. You said that if I don't, I need to get out and do something with my life, yada, yada. And my dad said, so when I remember it was like, Sergeant such and such calls my house, and my dad says to this guy, this is Master Sergeant Sumez. Don't ever call my house again. If my son wants to join the Marine Corps, he'll graduate high school and do it, but I'm not signing. And I remember sitting in the room like, you fucking asshole. You threatened to kick me out every other weekend. I found this plan to get out your house, and now you won't do it. So that started the whole conversation, right? In 1995, I had to go back to live with my mom. And around this time, I don't know if you guys heard about Farrakhan had the Million Man March, right? The difference in living with my dad and living back in the inner city, when I went back to the inner city, I went to a all-black high school, right? I am the white boy in the school, to the point, like, me and the Puerto Rican girl were the two light-skinned people in my graduating class, right?
Damn, not the Puerto Rican, not the one Puerto Rican.
Yeah, listen. Hey, listen.
One.
The South has the stain of segregation because I guess they fought hard to keep it. But if you live up north, listen, we have our section, y'all have y'all section, right? And that's just the way it works. I don't make the rules on that. So there was a school trip during the Million Man March. They took all the kids down there, all the black kids, all the black boys down there, right? And I remember there was a guy in the audience out there who was a Marine. And he was just, and I mean, he had his dress blue uniform, like not the blue with the coat, but the tan shirt and the blue pants, right? And I was like, that mother. And he walked with his shit don't stink. And I was like, you know what? I think I could do that. So that's started, like, I just remember, like, I didn't talk to the guy, I just saw him, and I just was like, I think I could do that. So I moved back to Philadelphia in 95. And in 96, I had a friend of mine who, his brother got locked up for, like, matter of fact, his brother came out of prison around the same time I retired. So we did the same amount of time gone and came back, And because I had lived with my father for so long, a lot of the dumb shit or the silly shit in the neighborhood, I didn't really partake in, right? Like, I found out I really wasn't a good drug dealer because you got to remember price points, right? And that kind of so that lifestyle just wasn't for me. And you see the way it ages people, right? In the city, when I graduated high school, the graduation rate for black men was 25%, or 1 out of 4. So like 27% of people that look like me graduated high school. that's the life of like we're all graduates now, so we all recognize a high school diploma is like the bare fucking basics. I'm not saying you need one to be successful, especially if you can work with your hands and you got some sort of cool ass trade. But for the majority of us who can't really fix shit with our hand or got to be taught how to do shit, if you don't have a goddamn diploma, you're gonna suck in. Like life is really gonna kick you in the ass. And I remember having friends who, like, you know, I hook eat school sometimes. Oh yeah, I was a pothead sometimes, but these people never went to school, and I couldn't see myself staying there. And now they have YouTube and all these things. So if you want to be an electrician in 2025 and you don't know how to be an electrician, you type in Google, I want to be an electrician, and 20,000 things will come up to tell you how to become an electrician. 1996, 97, there were gatekeepers. If you didn't have a family member that did something, you didn't know how to do that.
Oh, especially in a place like Philly, union controlled, people get in there. It's who you know up in there, like in those areas for sure.
But if you don't have if
you didn't have an uncle that was a fucking HVAC technician, you ain't gonna do you don't know HVAC. Like you ain't Googling this shit.
Yeah, there's no Google. There's no. So if you want to get your CDL,
your mom knew a handyman. That's who you talk to when you want to learn how to plumb your sink.
More or less, or like, for example, let's say I used to want to be a truck, like, you know, big like EO shit, right? Like,
hell yeah,
big 18-wheeler.
That's what
truck.
I did.
But in 1997, how the fuck do you tell a kid in the inner city how to be a
fucking truck driver?
And nobody he knows drives 18-wheelers.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a lot of despair, and I say, and like I said, after being in the military, I see it in rural communities too. There's a lot of despair. It's similar despair under different names, right? If you live, like you said, you're from a small town in Kentucky. If nobody you knew left there, it's kind of hard to dream outside of there.
That's 100% true.
That's the thing about us is we traveled so much. You know, I was from Corbin, Kentucky. We're the first Kentucky Fried Chicken. You know, pumping sunshine up into the mountains of southeastern Kentucky. But we traveled so much, I felt like I was well traveled within the eastern seaboard, at least. And you learned a lot of different cultures, a lot of different ways of the way people interact. You know, that my family to this day still don't know. They still stay in Corbin. You know, so my brother never left Corbin, Kentucky. Still lived there. 57 years old. Still lives there.
Yeah.
Flying to LA. Flying to LA to see Los Angeles is a huge thing to them. Just like you said, somebody joined the fucking Navy just to see the ocean. Like, but like that's what's I think so amazing about you is just the well-traveledness of your whole life. But
my wife was the second person in her family to move away from New Orleans. The second.
Wow. So
and the only other one was like Vietnam, dude. So it's like
she's probably the only one that can read too. Her family.
Hey, listen, I like New Orleans.
I'll make sure she knows.
She's from Kenner. She's the only one that can read.
Oh, Kenner.
Kenner, bro.
Kenner, yeah. Well, I know Kenner. Hey, I got family that's
right down the road from Bossier City.
I got family in Algiers, and
I recruited in Bossier City, so I know.
Okay, 318, we know.
Yeah, Homa, Thibodeau. Yeah, that was all.
Sweet
all over there.
But so it's interesting you say that, right? So having lived with my father and coming back to Philly, I had a different perspective of the world. Now, if I was 17 in 2025, would I have joined the military? I don't know, because there was a facet of adventure that I wanted, but there were so many other ways to do something. But there wasn't in 1996, 97. There wasn't any ways out of the city that really spoke to me. I knew I wasn't going to college. I barely like I said, it's amazing that I have degrees because I hate school.
Did you get your degrees in a classroom or online?
Both.
Oh, I did online.
I'm a tuition assistance guy.
Me too.
I'm some classes after work in uniform at the college campus on base. other classes, and I'm lying to my instructor, and hey, I'm deployed, because I didn't do the reading just so I can get a little bit more time, right? When I got my master's degree, the Army had a program that if you were enlisted and you chose to get a master's degree, you couldn't commission, but they would help you, like you get like no cost TDY to go to school. So I took advantage of that. But back when I graduated high school, like I knew I couldn't stay in Philly. Like I had this fear that I would die there. That the despair around here would grab me. Like I said, I would hooky school sometimes just because it would be fun to go hooky school. But I knew people who hooky school because they wasn't going back to school. There's an older guy I know who did some time, and I always say, I credit him saying he saved my life. I remember one day I was hooking in school in 96, and he calls me over. He says, hey, man, what the fuck are you doing over here? I don't want to see you on the block during the day, right? Okay, whatever. Maybe a week later, 2 weeks later, I'm out here bullshit with my friends, and he says, didn't I fucking tell you? And he punched me right in my fucking mouth. So I might have been 17, so he had to be like maybe 21. I mean, he didn't punch me hard enough to knock a tooth, but he punched me like, hey, like, get the fuck out of here. And he even said, I told you, I don't want to see you on the block between certain hours. And what he was saying was like, you don't need to be here with these idiots.
Yeah, he was looking out for you in his own way, right?
In his own way, he was looking out for me.
Yeah. But he can't tell you that because that doesn't make him still be the person everybody saw him as. You know what I mean?
And I don't even know if he would, like, just from the inner city, like we didn't talk like that. Like, I love you so much, I don't want you to be out here. But he saw, like, you're not like this, you know, like, because even in high school, I had a job. When I went back to go live with my mother, I had a job where a lot of guys I was hanging out with didn't have, like a lot of the guys that I would have grown up with when we were younger, by now, some of them had dropped out of school. Some of them were parents. Some of them were selling drugs. Like, I don't consider myself a hoodlum or a criminal, but I grew up with a lot of them, right? So, like, even to this day, when I would go to the city and I'll have my kids with me, they're amazed because they'll say, like, just like, I know these people. Like, I grew up with these people, right? This is such and such, or this is such and such. And some of these people got not warrants, have records, right? But in 96, 97, I was told just get the fuck off the block. Like I couldn't hang out there, which was weird. So I had to, like, either go to school or hooky school and not be out there, which is, well, why am I going to hooky school if I can't even hang out around here, right?
Might as well go to school. It was almost like your dad was looking out for you, but he wasn't there. You know what I mean? It's one of those things like, well, I might as well just go to school because I don't want to deal with, like, whatever it is if I don't.
No, I told you, man. When we skip school in Jacksonville, we'd skip school and go to the JU campus and flood the toilets. Like, we were skipping high school to go hang out at junior at the fucking college at JU.
I remember toilets. I remember we had the blizzard in 1996, right? And we were sitting in this guy's house playing NBA Live 95. And some of my friends were selling drugs for this dude. And the dude was like, y'all need to get the fuck out of here and go make some money. The blizzard 96 shut the Northeast down, right? It probably snowed. In Philadelphia, got like 48 inches of snow in like 24 hours. And I remember sitting in the living room playing, and I look outside, I'm like, because he's like, you guys need to go out there and get some fucking money. I was like, what fucking money? It's 4 feet of snow outside. So I was like, okay, you're not going to argue with this dude. You know, he's got a whole fucking gun and there's a whole lot of drugs and shit around here. So that was one of those kind of eye-openers, like, no, this ain't for me. And I started noticing the guys who were, like, selling drugs. Nobody in the city was drug lording. Them dudes live in New York, right? Those dudes, and they don't ever touch it, and they usually get Rico cased. The dudes that was getting knocked off in my neighborhood were guys going to jail, going to prison for like $200 worth of shit on them. Like, you about to do 20 years for this dumb shit? Or a lot of the older drug dealers in the city, they wouldn't even pay these kids in money. They would pay these kids, they would like buy them shoes. Because back when they wanted to wear Jordans. And I remember thinking to myself, like, that's fucking odd. You got a grown, even as a kid, like, you let a grown man, but I'm not my fucking dad, bro. No. Right? Like, what? So it's just things you've seen, like, so I got to stand out here. And at the time, the laws had changed, like the drug laws had changed. So like crack was getting you like forever. Like coke, like this, I don't know, this amount of cocaine got you one sentence, this amount of crack got you like forever. So it was like, you're really gambling with your fucking future here for like $30 worth of crack. Listen, I went to juvenile hall at 14. That was not a place I ever want to go back. I had friends who had older brothers who did like time, and the way they talked about prison, they didn't talk like prison was the cool spot where you go to work out and lift weights and get tattoos. So I was like, you know what? No. And then I had a cousin who got shot my 12th grade year. And we were at football practice, and around the corner from the school, you just heard pow, 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 pow. And then later on that day, my aunt had said, well, I found out through my mom that that was my cousin getting shot. So it's just like, I was fortunate enough. It was just shit like that and experiences like that where maybe I could have, like 2 minutes earlier, I could have been part of that. And one more, like one time we were in a stolen car in 96, excuse me. I got in the car, and back then they used to steal Honda Acuras, Honda Accords. They were, so they say, they were real easy to break the steering column, right? And I got in the back seat and my stomach started bubbling. Like, you ever like shart yourself? Like, you fart.
Come on, we've all been in the military.
At least
we know the answer to that question.
And it's like, but it's like boiling hot, like bubbly hot.
Yeah.
Okay, acid. It's fucking acid.
Yes.
Acid.
Makes you feel like it was just gas, but it wasn't gas. You know what I'm saying?
So I got in the back of the car and I was like, oh shit, right? Hey, drop me
Really?
my stomach. Yeah, drop me off. My stomach is fucked up. I couldn't even make it home. I went in the alleyway and shit in the alley, like dropped trouser in the alleyway and just blew it out, right? And then like 2 weeks later, I found out that 3 of the guys in the car got picked up for not that stolen car, but for another stolen car. And at the time, I didn't steal the car per se, but I was in it. You know what I mean? So that's still going to catch you. At the least, you're going to catch a joyriding charge. You might catch some delinquency charge, right? But definitely not going to be able to enlist with that on your record. You know what I mean? So all these things happen in my life that like, just like, no, man, you got to get the fuck up out of here. So, 96, I come to school, Willie Nelson High. Like, I'm fucking on the moon. I hung out with Snoop Dogg and Willie Nelson. And my science instructor was also the ROTC instructor. Now, I wasn't in ROTC, but I had science, right? But the ROTC instructor knew my dad was in the military. So he comes up to me and says, hey, I signed you up for the ASVAB. And I wasn't even going to go to school that day. But I was like, fuck it, right? And he's like, listen, you're going to get out. It's excused for the first 4 periods. Just go take the ASVAB. I think it'll help. I think it could help you out. I was so high taking the ASVAB that I was zoning out. So back then, the old ASVAB, they had like a sequence part of the test where it was like a sequence of numbers, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Some other shit would happen. What was the sequence again, right? Because you had to remember like the coding. I was so high that I couldn't, like, I was zoning out on that part of the test. And I just remember like, oh God. And then maybe 3 weeks later, I get a phone call from the Air Force.
You're so smart.
saying you got a 72. And I was like, it wasn't that goddamn hard. And they was like, no, that's really good. And I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, you were like 72 is almost a
You're
D.
like, shit, that's a D. That's
Yeah,
a
but
C.
no, I'm telling you all, I was like Willie Nelson. Like I had to get up in the middle of it and go to the bathroom and like, whoa. You guys remember the movie Half Baked?
Yes, I do.
Like, when he's zoning out and fucking like the candy shop, and he looks at the dude like Mr. Zapple, man. He's like, Pew! And the guy's like, he's feeling it. I was,
Yeah.
Red team go, red team go.
Yeah.
yes. So, again, because I saw the Marine recruiter. Me and my cousin I got my cousin like, hey, let's go to be Marines. We didn't know what the hell Marines did, but I remember like looking at the commercial back then. It was like the motherfucker had a sword and a lava monster, and he was like, dun, dun, dun. It was like a chess piece moving across the board.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah, yes, the music. So whatever Marines did, I was like, yeah, I want the sword, I want the hat, and I want to fight a lava monster. Because why would they lie, right? So the motherfucker, my cousin, punks out after we started working with the recruiter. So the recruiter was like, in order for us to keep working with you, you're going to have to like disenroll in depth and come back. And I think he was kind of pissed off with it. I don't blame him, but so he kind of left me out there. So then the Navy recruiter calls me and was like, hey, and I was like, hey, listen, I got to tell you, I started working with the Marine recruiter, but this is what happened. And FT1 Bennett was like, did you sign anything? And I was like, no, other than whatever forms. We didn't even go to MEPS. He was like, you ain't in the Marines. You're in depth. He was like, well, and I told him, well, you know, I was going to, me and my cousin were going to go together and blah, blah, blah. He was like, well, what do you think you want to do? And I was watching something, like I said, on Discovery Channel. And it was about submarine warfare. And they had the S3s on there talking about like anti-submarine warfare. And I was like, I would like to do that. And he was like, can you swim? I was like, yeah. He's like, no. I was like, look, man, I'm one of the ones that can swim, okay? Like I could do the
I was in Louisiana.
I could do the class 2 swim test, okay? Yeah. So I came in and I delayed enlist, and like 4 months later I was in Great Lakes.
Fucking submarines.
No, not submarine,
No,
anti-submarine
air
warfare. Air crew.
Okay. Yeah, air crew.
Air crewman. My recruiter was a submariner though, and he was the one talking about going to subs. He made it sound cool, but
They got the best food. You don't go into.
I don't give a fuck. You under the water. There's no windows. I'm good.
Listen,
I'm good.
I don't think I'm claustrophobic, but I've never been put in a tube 700 feet
I just
underwater.
don't feel like
either.
trying to find out.
Yeah, not in a sub.
Also, here's another thing. Ty will appreciate this, maybe not, but I don't know why. And you were in the Army, bro, so you did airborne too. Go. Before we get there, why in the fuck would you jump out of a perfectly good airplane? It's got a seat. It's got a seat belt. It flies to. What do you mean not a punk? You chose to get up there knowing you were going to jump out. You could have been like, "No, I'm good, bro."
I'm going to tell you a story what got me out of airborne school because I was scared shitless. But
we got to finish the Navy first.
All right, yeah. So just put it. I'm writing that down.
Yeah, I just want to know when we get there. I've got to hear the explanation of why it's a good idea to jump out of a perfectly good airplane.
I'm not a punk, and if those other dudes are going to do it, they're not going to. I'll be goddamned if they're going to talk shit about me.
Yeah, 100%.
Inboard personnel, stand up.
Outboard personnel, Army. You're.
I'd have been like, I'm here to direct traffic. You know what I'm saying? I'd be jump. That's me. I'll be that guy.
I'm gonna tell you. You know how I know I didn't like being airborne? Because I never liked jumping. I swear to God, I think I was the only motherfucker scared on every jump.
But I saw in your thing that like you didn't get to go air crew, right?
Right. No.
What's the reason?
I got to Pensacola, and I have an astigmatism. And at the time, now it doesn't matter, but in 1997, the astigmatism was such that I couldn't, for whatever reason, I couldn't pass that part of flight physical. It should have been
depth
caught.
Perception or color?
No, it should have been caught.
It's astigmatism. It means you see stuff blurry. It's like fuzzy, like you don't see sharp edges. Like it's not. It's a weird. I had one too before I had LASIK. Like it.
Yeah, right. Me too.
Fucking crazy.
Now they don't care, but
No.
in 1997,
they
were like,
that's reassuring. Now it doesn't matter if it's fuzzy. You'll figure it out.
So I go to Pensacola. I'm like 3 weeks into training, and you're on like air crew candidate school. I even did the helo dunker. I did all the shit like when you see Officer and the Gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
I did all that. So it was like our final, like towards the end of air crew candidate school, before you go to like the A school for your actual rate. That's when they do like the final physical, and they said it. And this is what they told me: it should have been caught in MEPS for this contract. Like that was one of the prereqs at MEPS, and then in boot camp, it should have been caught in pre-re. But so either what I learned happened, it probably wasn't caught in MEPS because MEPS is just a cattle push, get through.
Had a good recruiter, bro. That's what it was.
Boot camp also wasn't caught because boot camp is also another push through, and what they don't like to take contracts in boot camp because you'll almost always go needs of the service.
Yeah.
So unless you got like some really fucked up shit, even if they know you'll never pass the school, this is what I learned later. They'll almost just be like, "Hey, get him to his school," and then when they get down there, if
they'll worry about it then,
because then you can like call for orders like your permanent party military. You're not like, but if you're in boot camp and you lose your corpsman school because you did something, or you lose your SEAL contract or something, going seaman undead, you're bosun's mate.
Yeah, you fucked.
So I got down to Pensacola, and it was kind of. I enjoyed being in Pensacola, but when you're in like a no duty status, you pretty much spend your days doing extra duty. Like they asked us, like some days was kind of cool because they say who has a driver's license, and then you would drive the Admiral around. Like they actually issued me a pair. Like, Al, you remember? Like you guys are old school Art Navy, right? So when it was working blues and summer whites,
and fucking Johnny Cashes.
I love Johnny Cashes, bro. You look just like the police when you knocked on doors. People come to the door.
With the little hat too.
Fucking piss cutter in your fucking head, looking.
You could still wear Johnny Cashes when I made chief. So when I made chief, you could still wear the Johnny Cashes. 2006. It was just starting to roll out, so you would still have chiefs when it was phasing out that would walk in with the Johnny Cash on, like show off. People like, I could still wear them. You know, it was cool.
What happened? So, like being assigned to the base in Pensacola while we were waiting to figure shit out. So remember the summer whites you got issued in boot camp were like fucked up, right? So people would go out and buy CNTs, right, which are made out of like the chief and the officer.
CNTs was nice, bro.
So Pensacola Naval Air Station bought us CNT whites because we had to do driver for the Admiral, which was cool, right? So like I'm gonna need 3 with like these CNT whites. Except we just wear a Dixie cup. But sometimes you would have to drive the Admiral around if it was like, because Pensacola is a big naval base. If there was like some sort of delegation in, so it was a lot of like side boy duty, and it just sucked. I mean, you don't join the military to like sweep and
do bitch work, pretty much. That's what
until you become a builder. Then you do it.
Till you become a fucking Seabean, and all you do is fucking punk ass work.
Right. But I didn't know, so so they had asked me like, okay, what rates do you want to do? So I picked corpsman because I was like, I'll just be a green side corpsman and like I don't know, touch Marines on the ass. I don't know.
Even though I was told not to do that as a kid.
Yeah.
Right. No, I was told not to get in the van and don't let nobody touch my ass.
My ass. Yeah.
You wanted to go around and touch ass to see if it was really that if there was really something to that.
Yeah. Right. But I also think some of that was just like I said, when I thought about joining the military, like what got me was like the adventure, the gun. So there are like I knew I didn't want to be a SEAL. Maybe I could have went to SWIC, but had I stayed in the Navy, I probably would have done something like in the EOD SWIC world. You know?
Yeah.
Just because, like, I would tell you, I was one of the few people when we go to field in the Seabees. I love that shit. Everybody like, I'm like, Man, I'm out here painting my face. I got a boonie cover on.
You ready to go?
Right.
Yeah.
So I picked the CB. I didn't know much. Now, if I could do it again, I would have picked UT. I was just telling him my AC went out the other day, and I was telling my old lady, like,
if you would have been a fucking UT, you fix it yourself, save you some money.
or at least know how to troubleshoot.
You didn't do
that
enough
shit.
cross training where you could do that, bro? Come on.
Not back then.
not
with the UTs.
No, I did a little bit. Like, I know how to do simple electrician stuff.
Yeah.
I changed out all my light switches and my fans at home. But like in terms of like, I can change my sink out, but like to fix my HVAC, no, I can't do that. But so I became a builder, got the A school, and was like, oh shit, I don't know.
And you went? Where'd you go to A school? Gulfport.
Mississippi, yeah.
God bless you.
Me and
That's where I was for my first 5 years. Was Gulfport, dude.
Hollywood, baby.
Back when they had that big box site thing in the middle.
Yeah.
So I'm coming from Pensacola, where it's like the beach and everybody loves life.
That's where I live. I live in Pensacola area.
Yeah.
And I go to fucking
where it looks like they dump the sewer into the water on their beach.
Go for it. That's a nasty beach, right? That's a fucking mud puddle. That shit's
it looks like a POW camp. Like they had
It's fucking Vietnam.
You got those big ass sewer things going into the ocean. You're like, what are those? You're like, it's no big deal. I'm like, is that where the sewer empties? They're like, no. I'm like, I think it does.
So when I got to Gulfport in '98, was it? No, it was 90. Yeah, it was '98. The base, like, so I went to Gulfport like after Katrina. One day I was driving, I went and got gas and visited some friends down there. So it looks totally different after Katrina. But when I got there in '98, it looked like a Korean era POW camp. Like, as soon as you get on the base, there's like this big pile of box site in the middle. It was just everything had like that drab, like the buildings were just a drabby white.
Yep. I was in NMCB 74 when you were in A school in Gulfport. So I was there. I was there too. Yeah, it's way different now.
Yeah. So it was just a very coming from Pensacola. I was like,
bro, it's a culture shock. Like, what the fuck did I do? Who did I piss off?
And then you go to California from there.
So, hey, I asked. So and being from Philly, when I went to A school, they said, okay, you could still like class leader pick their orders and so on and so forth. So like 2 weeks before graduation, they had all the orders out. They said, okay, they wrote down like there was like 5 billets on the Gulfport, and the rest of them, everybody was going to the West Coast. So 5 people were staying in Gulfport, and then 2 people were going to ACB. So I was like, let's say it was 20 people in the class. I was like number 10 in average. And one person got picked to go because they were fleet returnee. They were going to like Suda Bay or some shit, right? Because since they were like an E4
losers
cross rating, they got to pick. Like they didn't get the same. Like we got schoolhouse pick. You know, Bupers just gave us like you get what you get. But for him, because he re-enlisted for this, he got to know he was going somewhere else, right? So they write all the NMCBs on the board. And the whole time I was just like, because we were talking in class, I was like, look, I really want to go to the West Coast. I don't want to, I'm from Philly. But surprisingly, half the people in my class wanted to stay in Gulfport. Good. So I got orders to NMCB 3. I got the NMCB 3 in March of 1998. About 3 weeks before the Guam deployment, 1998. And California was a culture shock coming from the East Coast, because I thought the water would be warm in California, and went to the beach and ran my ass into the beach and ran it right back out.
That's funny.
I never thought the water would be that goddamn cold in California.
Yeah, and it gets that cold at night in California.
Bro,
yes.
Yeah. I remember living in housing in Huanimi, and me and my wife got in that motherfucker. We had just got married. We're from the South. I'm looking around for the AC. Ain't no AC. They don't have no AC in that area. Like, I'm like, what's this thing on the wall? Like, oh, that's just a forced air. It's like a fan. And they're like, you don't need AC here. It gets down to like the 50s and 60s at night, and the yearly average temperature in Port Hueneme is 72 or 74 degrees. I was like, get the fuck out of here. And like he said, that water, shit, ain't nobody swimming in the water, bro. Fucking freeze your ass off. All your shit shrivel up.
I remember that. I remember. So I did deployment to Guam. Guam was like a routine deployment. It's kind of cool. Having been a dependent in Guam, I ran into people that I knew from being a child in Guam. Of course, where we were down at Big Navy, and I lived up in Anderson, but I still ran into people because now we're club age. So you'd be in a club and you would see people that you knew. Came back that home port, went on restriction because that's what you do. And I felt like it was the military's fault because you let me drink in Guam and now I can't drink here. But it is what it is. So 99 got interesting because 99, if you remember, that's when we started bombing Kosovo, right?
Yep.
So NMCB3 was getting ready to go to Spain on a routine deployment, but we knew before that some of us would be going to do Kosovo. So of course, what I joined to do, I volunteered for that. So I went on the mission. First, we went to Albania and did like road repair and humanitarian support to the refugees. And then we pushed into Kosovo. I still go to the NMCB3 website and read about, I guess, how impactful that deployment was for NMCB3. Like we got Battle E that year. We provided like lodging. Like we pretty much built. I don't know. I don't call it barracks, but built like housing So Kosovo's not considered combat, but at the time we got hazardous duty pay because people were getting.
Of course, CB's going anywhere where there might be a gun that needs to be used. That's combat pay, bro. At that time.
Yeah, at that time. So that was 99. Made some money that deployment because I made E4 that. I made E4 like right before we went to Kosovo. I got frocked. So in Kosovo, we couldn't spend any money. So it was we could spend a little bit of money. But remember, this is the days before Amazon. So the only thing you could buy is CDs. So I bought a shitload of music CDs. But
your Columbia membership that you've never paid for?
All of them. I'm surprised. Listen, I got a question for y'all. Do you guys think that shit money is a running? It's like that was like drug money. Or like a front had to be because they made no money.
Had to be.
They made no money.
And then
had to be a fucking
like a.
They pretended like they was gonna come after you and sent this letter, but they only wanted like $3 from you. It wasn't like they were trying to get the whole value. You were like, man, fuck that bill, dude.
Really? And then I had a buddy of mine that told me,
just send them back. Nah.
Let's say so when you're younger, you didn't know any better, so you used your real name. But if you just used a different name, they would still send it to your address, man. Listen.
Yeah.
You know how many fucking CDs I got? So anyway, right? Yeah. So I moved forward in that. Al and I used to do part-time security in
good days.
And it was cool because at the time they were paying like $10.50 an hour, which was a lot of money to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, Al, but I used to sleep in my car. I wouldn't even.
Bro, I got caught. I got caught. So you remember Desmond Buchanan? Remember?
Yeah.
Des? So I convinced him to do it with me. So he was doing it, and we were doing a construction site, and it was a Connex box with a gate around it. So I just backed up my little fucking car to the gate. And that bitch knocked out. We're doing radio checks, like, all secure. Fuck it. I was in there, and I woke up in the morning with somebody tapping on my window, and I looked, and it was the construction crew. They're like, "Hey, bro, like you got to get up out of here." I was like, "What time is it?" They're like, "It's 8 o'clock." I was like, "I done missed fucking muster. I didn't show up to PT, bro. I was fucking hauling ass back, fucking brushing my teeth in the car on the way back. Yo, it was crazy,
dude. I used
$10 an hour was a lot of money though back then, though." Shit.
I remember doing 10 o'clock in the morning. I would do Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays.
Yeah.
Man, I used to feel bad because like I would walk around that apartment complex and like they would say like nobody could be in the pool.
You ain't give a fuck.
I'll be sleeping in my car, man. I had
That's what I did.
I had my girlfriend come visit me in the car. We'd make out in the car. like whoever was in that. Like whoever's that apartment complex was not safe when I was on duty.
There was people getting murdered and mugged and shit. He was in
I
your
wouldn't
car.
have saw shit. I was fudging a lot, man. So I did from 98 to 2002. I was in Wanimi, and then MCB3.
Yep.
Made second class when we went to Gabon. Didn't even like. I made Gabon off of a dare. You remember September 11th deployment? You guys, I think, went to Cuba, right?
So
no, for
I wasn't.
September.
I didn't get that. I didn't get there till 2000. So I didn't. So
no, I'm talking about September 11th. Before we were supposed to deploy on September 11th. Remember?
We went to.
We wound up leaving like a week later.
Fuck. Was that? I think I was I was on a debt then. I don't know if I was in Korea or I was in fucking Italy. I don't remember.
You might went to Italy. I remember. So
Italy, Korea. You guys were in all the good places, you know. Yeah. California CBs.
So I remember I had planned on getting out, and I remember somebody was talking because I had been in third class forever now. And somebody said, "I said, listen, if I actually take this test correctly, I'll miss it by less points than you." And sure as shit, I made it, and I was like, "Fuck, damn, that changes everything now."
That's a feat, though, in the CBs. We're not gonna lie. That's like an accomplishment, dude.
Yeah, back then it was like 14% to second.
Yeah.
I made second. I got promoted. I got capped essentially in Iraq when I was part of CERT. So I was part of the first CERT team out of 3. So I was part of CERT 3, TMT 3, and I got promoted. But if it wasn't for that, I never would have made second class. There wasn't no fucking way, bro.
Dude, I remember when we did the CERT with Lieutenant Linus before it was actual CERT when they were trying to see if it could be done.
Wasn't he the one that was on Black Hawk Down? Wasn't he the Army Ranger that became a CB? That crazy motherfucker.
That was a weird motherfucker.
He was a Ranger.
Yeah, he saw some things. He seen some things. We were doing FEX one time, and we were like, "Yo, you're a CSC officer now, bro. You can't be out here leading us."
Dude was in Mogadishu. Like, yeah, he was intense, dude. Yeah, he was y'all were air det in the original CERT before they made the reconnaissance.
That's when they called it air det, bro. I was on that too. They got me. It was like, hey, you should join air det. I'm like, what? Brand new in the battalion. They're like, you need to be on air det. You get to go in first. You come in. I was like, yeah.
You're the EO?
Yeah, I was the EO.
Okay, right on.
Man, they got me. And then the next day, they're like, 782 gear inspection. I was like, what's that?
Yeah.
They're like, bring all your shit. And I remember the weekend before, this is back when we wore dungarees, right? So they would take you to the beach when you became a CB because you got issued camis when you went to the battalion, and they would have you burn all of your dungarees, right? Well, when I got air det, they were like, make sure you got your full sea bag. And I was like, wait, the full sea bag? They're like, yeah, the full sea bag, bro. Like everything. And the dude that's telling me to bring the full sea bag is the guy that encouraged me to burn
your shit.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God. He's like, you better have it all. I'm freaking out, dude. I thought I was going to get kicked out of the Navy. I get there and everybody's laughing when I walk in because like I didn't have any dungarees, but I had this elaborate story about, the dog ate my homework or something, dude. It was crazy. And they were just laughing. And that's when I knew like, oh, yeah, these dudes give two shits about nothing. This is going to be a good time. Like they're going to go work really hard, but we're going to make sure that we have a good time too, while at work and after. So
I got an EO story for y'all. So when I was in Guam, my first deployment, somebody had told me like, listen, on rate, if you want to be able to get out of like formation in the morning or muster, you have to I got licensed for every fucking piece of seats out there. I was like one of the few BU builder E3s in the battalion who could drive everything in there. And then because, like I said, like jackhammering concrete in Guam will make you appreciate some shit different. So I was like, man, if I can get an excavator and move that, I was like, fuck this. That's how I knew I wasn't a good C, because like these guys were like they like this.
They like that construction bullshit. I hated it. I was like, fuck it. Send me to the armory. I'll clean block weapons. Don't put me underneath the vehicle.
I didn't dislike it per se, but I didn't like it to the level that they liked it.
There's some of them fucking corn-fed country motherfuckers, bro. They live and breathe that construction shit.
One day in Guam, we jackhammered all damn day to like make a chunk of like coral like this big.
Bro, we were in Andros Island in the Bahamas, and it was me and another guy were the EOs, and we were there to build like basically Navy Gateway Inn and suite rooms for like dignitaries that came over, right? We were building like their row of stuff, and so we're in Andros Island. The entire fucking island's coral, right?
Yeah.
And all we have in Andros is an auger truck, the digger that the tires are filled with concrete because they couldn't get tires, right? So that was a bumpy ride. And then we had a backhoe with the bit that allowed you to drill into the ground, right?
Right.
So that's what we're using. And we had an Air Force captain was our det OIC, right? So we've got the front end loader with the auger attachment laid into the whole ground. Front tires are off the ground, and it's pounding this coral, dude, right? Because it's the only way to get through it. She was freaking out, and our safety guy comes up and goes, "You guys can't do that no more." I was like, "Bro, you told me to do it." He goes, "I did not." And then he came back after and was like, "Don't you ever do that to me again." I'm like, "Do what? Be honest?" He goes, "No, you got to cover me, dude." I'm like, "All right." And then as soon as she got in the truck and drove off, he turned around and he gave the circle sign. He's like, "Keep going." And then, no kidding, she was there like 20 minutes while we were doing it the right way, not moving. The moment we hammered down, what do you think happened?
Yeah.
We blew a hydraulic hose. We had to call the mechanic. And the mechanic's like, "You guys suck." And we're like, "No, dude, it wasn't our fault." Like, whatever. Mechanics hate EOs, but it was bananas, dude.
We broke a water pipe that wasn't, it was like from like World War II, so it wasn't on any of our maps. And we flooded out the main side PX.
Good job, dude.
Listen, so when I got in the army used to talk all that shit, I was like, brother, you have no fucking deal, man. I have been the reason for the safety brief in another branch. You cannot scare me on this side.
Yeah.
I have been the reason for the safety brief. You don't threaten me.
And we all know these are just suggestions and not the rule, okay? Right.
So you went when it was the blue to green program, right?
Yes.
Is that what you switched over? Yeah, I remember.
Before we get there, though, we've skipped over a whole good conversation piece, and that is, when did you first meet this dude named Albert Hero, and what was that like? Like, we haven't even gotten there. I want to know, what was it like to meet this crazy young ass dude?
So my like I said, my first conscious memory of Hero was when we both did security for this company. So this would have been the summer of 2000?
Yep.
Or 2001.
Yeah. 01.
Yeah, it would have been the summer of 01. And it was like a changeover type deal, because I saw him either getting a logbook. Either way, we were coming in off of duty, and I was like, "Oh, what's up? Yeah, you work with me." And he's like, "Yeah, you know Buchanan?" Yeah, I know Buchanan. And then I started seeing him around. And then when we got to Spain, my best friends, Mike, they were either in the same company or the same platoon together. But I just remember,
Mike was my squad leader.
So what I remember most about Hero when I first met him, because of course he had a baby face and everything.
Yeah,
but
tell him to shave. It's still there.
He was really stocky. He was really solid to be so just compact. Yeah, I've always been tall and thin, right? I'm 210 now. I'm the heaviest I've ever been, right?
But Al got picked on as a kid all the time. He had to have something to defend himself. You know how that goes.
That motherfucker was stocky as shit. I remember that.
Yeah.
But that's
we all ran in the same circles too. There was a crew of people in that battalion. You had Irby and Mike and you and fucking Mo.
And so Al's one of them people like me, he could flow in different groups. So in battalion, you have the brothers hang out in one group, the essays hang out in one group, the cornball, the
rednecks,
the rednecks. But then there's certain people who can flow in every group.
Mm-hmm.
So I could have friends where we listen to country and western and cornhole, right? Or I could have friends and we're gonna play basketball, right? Or I could have friends and we're gonna do have a kickback at the beach with Coronas. So I remember so I was starting to see Al in the if we're shooting dice on payday with the brothers in the barracks room, Al would be there.
Yeah, you're fucking right.
But 2 days later, we're going to go to Sea Rounders, which is a country and western bar in Wanimi. So everything that comes with. So imagine if Gulfport had a little bit of like there's a one bar in Port Hueneme that's Gulfport.
Yeah.
So we're listening to Brooks and Dunn,
chilling. See,
and that so you were shooting dice, listening to Snoop Dogg with the brothers, and now we're shooting darts, listening to Brooks and Dunn.
Darts, yeah.
Yeah,
it was good times.
So funny.
And then the stoner kids would be out there listening to Green Day playing hacky sack and Owl's ass. So like,
yeah, I was like, I could play hacky sack better than all y'all. Let me show you how it's done.
But when you meet people like those are really gems because there's obviously everybody has their own groups, right? But when you meet people who are accepted in every one of those groups, those are like genuine people and genuine spirit people. Because
you guys are unicorns, man.
They're just
triple threat.
Yeah.
Triple threat.
You can communicate and talk to and relate to anyone, but also help people like see your point of view and understand theirs.
But it goes back to his upbringing too. If you think about the way he was raised, it's the same way we tied. Like I was a military brat, so my dad was in the fucking Navy, and I was in school all over from Jacksonville to fucking Italy to wherever. So it definitely makes you cultured and more well-rounded because you're the military kid, you're on a military base. Like it was like he was saying earlier, like Sumez was saying earlier, like you fucking left the house and you, especially on a base, when you live on a base, like it's like fucking, you don't ever come home to the streetlights are on. And like, you just, you learn, like, it's like I remember being in Jacksonville and we lived in Yellowwater housing. And I remember we played baseball and like the base kids had their own team. Yellowwater had their own team. So military housing kids all played in the same team. And I remember like getting into like a fight in a fucking in school with like some other baseball kids, and like all these military kids are like fucking jumping in. Like it was like your own little world, but it made you very well rounded because you cultures were different. Like I had friends that were fucking from like Africa. Their parents are from Africa, and you had white friends and black friends and fucking redneck friends from.
So you're a very diverse individual.
I would say so. I would say I think it's
diverse as fuck. Is what I would
say. Very much diverse and equity and inclusive. Very much.
I don't know how inclusive he is.
I was DEI before that shit was cool, bro.
So don't let him get on here and start lying when he wears his conservative shirt. He's lying.
What's funny, bro?
He's trying to fit in. He's trying to fit in because he just admitted who the real him is.
I wear those shirts because my wife fucking hates it. Like she's like, you're just trying to cause a problem. Like I'm just trying to start a conversation. And she's like, whatever, but she fucking hates it. Oh my God. She'll ask me to change it. I'm not going out in public with you wearing that. I'm like, really?
I'll
see you later then.
You made me think of something. You made me remember how I knew Al, where I first really consciously met him, right? Because when he showed up, I had already been like, so from a
you were salty by that time.
I wasn't salty-ish, but from a rank standpoint, like
he was a 4 or 5 at least.
I was a senior 4, getting ready to be a 5, but so we didn't not associate, but like.
Yeah,
he would have associated with other people type deal. But like I said, we went to this. It was C round. I want to say it was C rounders, but like I said, for whatever reason, we could be hanging out in the barracks with the brothers shooting dice, listening to like Snoop. But it was like karaoke night at one of them country and western bars in Hueneme. And back then I used to drink, so I was in there drinking, right? And it was either Garth Brooks. I want to say it was Garth Brooks' The Dance, right? Yep. Somebody else in our unit was singing, but this, like, you ever seen somebody do karaoke and they obviously missed their calling because they have a beautiful, wonderful voice? It was that dude. Like, he sang, like,
he could actually sing. Yeah.
We get drunk and do karaoke to embarrass ourselves, but that motherfucker gets drunk and does karaoke to like he came to really, like, he gets mad when we don't take it serious. So Al was in the same bar. And I was like, oh, okay. We could hang out in different. That's why I remember we were in this bar and it was either Garth Brooks or Brooks and Dunn. And so, of course, we're like heel to toe, do-si-do, come along, right? And I was like, oh, this motherfucker's cool like me, right? So.
Yeah, we see Raj was a spot, man. Memories, bro. Some memories.
We're adults and we're married now, bro. Hey, you either had to be there. If you didn't see it, if there's no tape, it didn't happen.
No, there's no video back then.
Nope, it didn't happen. So
that's probably a good thing, though, dude.
I wanted him. Yeah, so that's what I was asking. Is I was curious because I remember when that program came out. I remember Mike tried to convince me, and the only reason I think I was gonna get out. I think the only reason I didn't do the blue to green program when Mike was like, "You should do it." Mike was like, "You should. It's worth it. Like they're giving out money, and it's gonna be better." I was getting the fuck out. I was not gonna be a lifer. I was like, "Fuck this. I'm done. I'm out. I'm out of it." And then I think there was like a handful of people that did it. You, fucking Mikey.
Carpenter,
I mean,
I ran into Chris Carpenter in Fort Knox. But so I go on shore duty to England in 2002, right? So shore duty as a CB will really let you know if you're a CB in name only or you're a CB because this is who you are, right? And shore duty was horrible. So shore duty being in London was a great location. It was beautiful, right? But we had a couple people showed up who, like, for whatever reason, they had never been in battalion since before they were like second classes. So they were trying to run this shore duty location, this public works department, like a CBU or a mini battalion. I know they got rid of CBUs now. So CBUs used to be like smaller battalions, right?
There were mini battalions that helped people when they needed. Otherwise, they was hanging the fuck out. Everybody wanted to go to them bitches, and the orders was hard as hell to get.
So that's not the version I got. So when I was calling for orders and didn't know, because again, I was going to get out too till I made second class. So when I was looking at the different types of second class orders, I didn't want to go to a CBU because I didn't want to do like concrete. I didn't want to do like
you were working like public works on bases, right?
Yeah.
So you were helping out with that part of it. So you did have to do a lot of CB work though.
But I went to school before I went to these orders to learn how to do like the technology's changed, so we don't do cipher locks like that anymore. But in 2002, they still had the kind of locks where you would like, let's say it had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on it, and you had to like push it like you know what I mean. So I went to C school to learn how to install those locks. When I got to the command, those orders went like that billet was no longer needed because I guess somewhere between 99 when this billet was created and now the technology came up so much, now it's all fiber optics, right? No problem. But the chief that we had coming in, he had never been to battalion since he was like a third class. So he wanted to run it like we were doing concrete pours on a Saturday on shore duty, bro. And because he was one of them people, like he was a weirdo, he didn't really like sports. You know, when you're in Europe, NFL, Final Four, all that shit is like you got to wake up at 2 a.m. to watch it. So most shore duty commands say, okay, in Europe, it's going to be a late call day, our first call 1300. Like, you know, like only people got to be at work is duty section. Not our stupid asses.
Right? That's the reason to get out right there. This dude ruined it for me.
So, and then like I said, I realized like while being a builder was easy, this is before the war on terror kicked in because I did more CB work in the Army as a special operations guy than I ever did as a CB. And we'll get to that story. So we're fucking so the war kicks off, Iraq kicks off, and like a lot of guys in the military, I want the adventure. Like, why am I not over there? What the fuck am I doing here in London doing auxiliary security forces every 6 weeks? Because they make the CBs do ASF because we all know about guns, right? Pouring concrete to missing the Super Bowl because this idiot I work for doesn't like sports. So the Army's like, hey, we need a lot of people. Me and Mike are friends. I'm talking to Mike like, yo, Mike, because Mike at the time wanted to go, my buddy wanted to be in military intelligence, and I guess the CBs wouldn't let him cross-rate. So the Army was like, they don't let you cross-rate? We'll let you. So it just worked out that me and Mike went to Fort Knox together, but it wasn't planned. I just happened to get off the plane and was like, yo, what are you doing here? So my last day in the Navy was November 2nd, 2005. I flew November 2nd, 2005 to Kaiserslautern, Germany, and swore into the United States Army and flew to basic training November 4th, 2005.
And you still had to go through boot camp, I saw.
Yes, they said we didn't until we got. No, listen, they said there was going to be like a gentleman's 3-week course. Welcome to the Army. Here goes your uniforms, and go on to your A school, MOS school. No, we had our own. Except instead of 9 weeks, it was like 6 weeks. But it was drill sergeants. The only thing is everybody in your platoon was prior service, right? So there was like E5s, E4s, E3s from Air Force, Navy, whatever, Marine, right? Marines didn't have to go, my bad. But because I came in as a Cav Scout, the Army Combat Arms does what they call OSTD, One Station Unit Training, which pretty much for 23 weeks, their basic training in their MOS school is one large haze fest. So once I did the 6 weeks, welcome to the Army boot camp, I had to go back to Cav Scout boot camp for 4 months. In the first 2 months of that, I got treated like a private, even though I was a sergeant. And then the last 2 months, they let us they put us in a different, let's say you have squad bay barracks or berthing, but the second floor of the building might have had, so they made us live on the second floor, but every morning we had to come down with the kids and get yelled at. But then on the weekends, we were allowed to leave. And then after 1800, we were told to get out of here. But so for pretty much my first 35 weeks in the Army, I was in the shut the fuck up, you roll left, roll right status. Because I felt like I had something to prove, I'm already an E5 in the Army. I don't have the Army experience. I needed to try to go extra hard. So me and Mike were saying we're going to go airborne. Well, Mike didn't want to go airborne at first. I told him, fuck it, I'm going to go. Because Mike went to Fort Huachuca for A school or MOS school, AIT. But while I was in Fort Knox, they were asking who wants to volunteer to be airborne. And I said, I'll do it. And so 2 weeks later, I got orders saying, okay, you guys, when you guys graduate, you go to Fort Benning for jump school. Went to Fort Benning jump school for 3 weeks. That was some of the... I think I got a concussion in jump school like the second week, because all you do in jump school is practice jumping out of planes, practice falling on the ground. That's all you do. You learn how to fall. And just when you think you figured out how to fall, you do it again. And you do it again. And you do it again. So when you get to the last week, so this is how it's such a cult. Airborne is such a cult, right? Every morning before you class up to do whatever exercise, training evolution, the cadre will read off like all these statistics about how like it's dangerous. 20% of people on airborne operations get career-ending injuries. People die all the time. Why would you fucking do this for $150 a month? You got to be crazy. So if anybody wants to leave right now, no questions asked. Just excuse yourself to the back, fall out of formation, and we'll just out-process you. And and you'll hear like people, because it's like 4 a.m, it's dark. You'll hear footprints on the gravel, like. Then you guys about face turn around. They'll say, "Cover down." Now the real paratroopers can train. So they brainwash you while you're in there, because now you're like, I don't want to be no punk. But when you're going through it, there's like, it's co-ed. So you have females and males going, right? You got people of all ranks going through. I remember when we get to jump week, we're sitting on the C-130, and there's this girl. She's like 19 years old, and she's 2 people ahead of me, and she's on the plane crying. Right, her nerves are shot. She's like fucking, and everybody else is having fake motivation, like, yeah, we're gonna jump out of planes, and my fucking heart's like, I'm like, this is fucking crazy. What the fuck am I doing? But I see this girl, and I mean, she's crying, and she's like, hook up. She stands her little ass up. She's like 5'2", and she hooks her, like she couldn't even reach the hook inside. Like they had to, like, because she's not tall enough. And I'm like, if she fucking goes out this goddamn airplane, I gotta go out. So your first jump, you don't even know to be scared because you're so brainwashed to go. It's your third jump. The first jump, you're like, when I remember jumping out the plane and just falling and seeing the plane like fly away, and I'm like, oh shit, I did it. And then you land on the ground, no problem. You pack your chute up, but you got to do 4 more of these to graduate airborne school. So the second one, you kind of just do it, just a box checker. But that third one is the one I was like, this shit is kind of scary. And I had like a weak exit, right? So I was all like discombobulated in there, and I felt like my parachute go up my leg, which means I was upside down. I mean, you wind up righting yourself, but I was like, this is crazy. And then my 6th jump, I broke my neck. So I have a nice little fuse C5, C6 right here, which means I probably should have stopped jumping after that, but I'm a fool.
I got a question. How many times did you jump out of an airplane?
68.
68. So you did it 62 times after you broke your neck?
That's not. See, you're looking at this all wrong. I'm not a punk. Okay.
I hear that. I get you. After my neck broke, I'd have been like, it was cool. I tried it. I'm still here.
Listen, 47 or 48-year-old me says exactly. 26-year-old me coming out of the Navy, feeling like, like, I started. So in airborne school, they asked who wants to go to Ranger school, right? I'm like, fuck it, I'm here, I'll go. So I started the Hayes Fest to get ready to go to Ranger school, and then they tell you certain MOSs can't be Rangers. Like, you can go to school, you can get the little Ranger tab, but you can't go to Ranger Battalion. And my MOS was one of them. So I was like, what the fuck am I gonna go get shitted on for the next 68 days if I can't? So I withdrew out of Ranger selection.
Yeah.
I wish I would.
Makes sense. Smart, dude. Smart.
Now, but at the time, that's one of those things. I wish I would have just stuck it because I was in great shape. I was already conditioned down there. I was like running like a 2-mile in like 13 minutes. But when they told me I couldn't go to Rangers, like an actual Ranger unit, I was like, well, fuck you. Like, why am I going to? Yeah. I'm cool enough. I got a red hat now. But yes, you're absolutely right. After breaking your neck on your 6th jump, which is considered your cherry blast jump out of airborne school, an adult.
You cherry blasted faux show.
Yes, an adult would have took that as a sign that said, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, but as soon as they came and visited in the hospital, be like, dude, it was a fluke. It's all good. It won't happen again.
Hey, you sound
like,
I'll
do it. I'll do it again. You're right.
I
love you guys.
Like, you gotta get back on.
You bounced twice. That shit was crazy.
I was knocked out.
You bounced twice.
I want to see the video.
When the VA was screening me, and they go through your record, they're like, yeah, you had a concussion and you were knocked out. I was like, no
shit.
No, I did not. And they were like, oh, I guess I was. So here's how you know, right? 0.5 centimeter this way, I'm a paraplegic. I'm like Christopher fucking Reeves for the rest of my life. Oh, man. 0.5 centimeter this way, I'm dead.
Which is even more reason to go 62 more times. You are the lucky one.
Listen, you. So, and I think because that happened on my 6th jump is why I was scared. Because I remember, my first jump after Iraq, we get back from Iraq, right? I'm the number 2 man in the door on a C-17. Fucking sucks. Because you have to stand in the door. Like, when you see airborne movies, you think they go off the ramp. No, you only do that on like cool jumps. You go out of a side door on the side of the plane. So you stand there in the doorway and you have to look down and see how high you are. So I remember telling my soldiers, I will never fucking be the first jumper. I don't care if they tell me I'm the first, because when I get on the plane, I'm going to do what I did this one time. I was supposed to be the first jumper. And I act like my equipment was caught. So they're like, hook up. So I told my private, I was like, go, 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 Sanchez, go. And then he stands up, and then I'm like the fifth person out. Fuck him. I'm an E5. They do what they do what they're told to do. They don't have to, like, I'm gonna say, I get paid to watch out for them. They don't get paid to watch out for me. But I couldn't bring myself to stand in the doorway because when I was the second jumper on my first jump out of I know I jumped around, sorry, ADHD. When we came back from Iraq in 2007, my first jump back in Alaska, I was the number 2 man out the door. So that's still close enough to look out of the door and see how high you are. So when I'm standing in the plane, I was looking this way. And Sergeant First Class Franco was ahead of me, so I could see his leg out of my periphery. So I just kind of watched his foot, and when he went out, I went out. And not standing in the doorway.
That's so funny, dude.
And then one time, Coleman was one of my soldiers, right? Me and him were the last 2 out. So if the red light comes on, they tell you stop, and you'll just go around on the pass, and you'll jump out. But so Coleman was taking a sweet ass time, and he goes out. The red light comes on Coleman, but if I stop, I gotta go around and be the first one in the door. You know what the fuck I did? I jumped. And I was like, I'll just hit the trees. I don't give a fuck. But I'm not standing.
You ended up in the swamp with the alligators.
Holy shit.
I ended up in trees.
Listen, I ended up at the backside of the drop zone, Alaska, which is nothing but hard-ass rocks, like the moon.
Ooh, no PLF.
But you know who wasn't first out the door?
You.
This guy.
There you go. So
by yourself on a plane.
I tell you what. So we're getting to that point in time where we have to turn the heat up on you. We've heard all the stories you told so far. It's like you've had an amazing ride. You're one of the very few individuals that we can probably be on here for 6 more hours to be able to hear the entire length for real. But Al is playing daddy this week because he has to. He was told
that shit. This is horrible. I hate kids. I hate animals, and I hate children. This is bullshit.
Except you, Kenzie. I love you so much. You're the bestest ever.
I love animals, dude. I was the asshole in Iraq. I fed the dogs. I used to cry when the doc would come and want to shoot the stray animals. I'd have to go sit in the room and have a moment. I'm like, don't fucking kill the dog. Come on.
Yeah. The best part about my wife being gone is she took the animals with her, bro. I ain't got no dogs.
Oh, there you go. That's a plus. Yeah. You should say even more you love your daughter.
I gave kids candy in Iraq. I was that motherfucker with all.
I was the one he's giving candy. I'm throwing bottles full of piss, Gatorade.
Yeah, you're that ass.
Oh my gosh!
And rocks.
All right. On that note, what we're gonna do is we're gonna let Ty ask you 10 questions because that's just fucking gross. Yeah. First off, second off, they won't even hydrate with that because you didn't drink enough water.
Yeah.
That's gross. Oh, it looked like yellow Gatorade, bro. They didn't drink it up.
Me and Alex, we're gonna get you. So let's without further ado.
All right, man. So most of the time we do the hot seat just to get to loosen people up for the second part of the interview, when normally we'll jump into like the nonprofit or whatever book they're trying to throw out. But I mean, I really appreciate you sharing so much. I after reading your bio when I got it, I was telling Matt I was excited about the conversation we're going to have. So we're going to start off this one a little bit different. I kind of know what the word John is, but just wax poetic about the word John for me for the first question.
Okay. You said John, like Philly to John. So John is a noun. It's a person, place, or thing. John can be used. It's based on the context of the sentence. So you could be like, yo, I fuck with that John. Oh, yeah, that joint was good as shit. Oh, yeah, what's up with that dumb joint? Are you asked that stupid ass joint? But it's based on the context.
Absolutely. I love it. I was, I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, so we had our own little dialect down there in the 904 as well. So, all right, what tenet of is more important, loyalty or respect?
Ooh, respect.
All right, and why?
As a man, we'll die or do some shady shit over respect or lack of respect or lack thereof. Loyalty is kind of fickle because loyalty is transactional and it's usually based on something. But respect is what it is. I don't know if it's earned, but it just is. And that's why you can tell, like moving, like I could say, like having lived around like criminals still have a code and honor amongst thieves that is facilitated on respect because they know if we don't respect each other, it can get active real quick and real fast.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. What is your favorite movie?
Ooh, Casino, Donnie Brasco, those kind of movies.
All right, and why would it be Donnie Brasco? Why'd you say Donnie Brasco?
The era of Philadelphia I came of age in, a lot of guys wanted to they thought they were a mob or they just had a fascination with the mob. So movies like Casino, Goodfellas, Donnie Brasco, just that genre of movie, just as I guess when I was like 16, 17, those were the things that were always on repeat.
Right. Yeah, I know that a lot of the movie culture from the 90s, all the gangster movies really permeated into the hip hop culture, a lot of lyrics. I mean, I was in Jacksonville, so we listened to a lot of booty music, but still, once Outkast started coming around, you started hearing some good lyrical play. But like everything up in New York and Philadelphia, it's all cinematic. Like Jay-Z's whole albums are based on that. So yeah, I mean that's I appreciate that. All right, who is the greatest comedian of all time?
Oh, you motherfucker! Since I just had to throw a name out real quick, Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with Eddie Murphy. Absolutely. I would ask you to go a little further on that, but Eddie Murphy is.
I think because Eddie Murphy has longevity, he showed he could be everything from a regular comedian, if you will, like raunchy in his day, to like I heard people complain about the recent Coming to America movie. I thought it was good because I also asked the question, how raunchy do you expect a 65-year-old man to like? He has shown that he has the chops to carry his genre through different eras of life type deal, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember memorizing, Bill Cosby himself, Richard Pryor, Live on the Sunset Strip, and then definitely once Eddie Murphy Delirious and then Eddie Murphy Raw came out. Those were the, there would be segments of that you would want to be able to memorize yeah, Eddie Murphy. That'd probably be my answer as well. All right, what is the most unique place on earth you've ever visited?
Senegal.
All right, and what's special about Senegal?
Senegal, so obviously being Black or African American, you see the diaspora coming from before we were in America. So if you've ever TDY traveled to Africa, every Black person you've ever met in America, you can see somebody that looks like them in West Africa. And when I got to West Africa, a lot of the foods were similar foods that I ate, just they had a French name to it. And I was just so enamored that I was the taxpayers sent me over here on a deployment to do, cool guy shit, in the special operations world. But when it was all said and done, I'm still surfing in West Africa when I'm not at work.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw on your bio that you've been to Djibouti. So I was gonna say Djibouti. The most unique place I've ever been is it's these underwater little things that are down in the Yucatan Peninsula. Yeah, I went on a cruise and we went down underwater and we're swimming in this real limestoney water.
Cenotes?
Yeah, cenotes. Yeah. I've said it wrong so many times on the show, I just stopped saying it. But yeah, that's probably the most unique. But Djibouti was strange too because you're fucking deployed, but you could look out into the harbor and it was beautiful, and it's just okay. So anyway,
Fun fact, I was in Djibouti before the war on terror, and we got evacuated back to Bahrain when the coal got bombed because you could see it smoking from across the harbor.
Oh wow. Wow. Yeah, that's the biggest thing about this podcast is you hear these stories and there's so many points of history during a very long span for a GWAT, era veterans that we were just front row to history. Like fucking stuff happened all the time.
And my stupid ass as an E4 didn't even realize what I was at the precipice of. It was just like, oh, okay.
Right, no doubt. All right, hey, what drives you in life right now today?
Finding peace.
Right, what kind of peace?
Being a decent human. The world is full of a lot of things that I consider rage bait issues to get you pissed off. And when you understand, I would say 90% of it is marketed to you to get an emotional response. You have to find your peace. That is and it looks different for everybody, but like I said in my bio, try to be a decent human being.
Right.
And try to be better than I was yesterday.
Absolutely. So along the same lines, so what is something that keeps you up at night?
Wondering the kind of world my children are going to inherit. Like, damn, I thought the music. I was like, where am I hearing this motivated music from? So okay.
Oh yeah, that's the hot seat music.
Yeah, hot seat music. I love it. So what motivates? It's just like recognizing like what we've been taught as the American dream. I think is a bill of bad goods, and we all bought into it. But like, even if you're like, unless you're like the top of the top, like we argue over what minimum wage should be and shouldn't be, and I don't know what it should fucking be. But no matter what it is or what it ain't, no one can afford to do anything. Like we're fortunate enough because we kind of got in where we got in, but our kids, the world they coming in, unless they hit the lottery. You can't make enough to survive, and that like, I don't know how long this bubble, if you will, this illusion bubble can last. Because eventually, like if you spend all your money and run out of money, eventually you're gonna get bankruptcy. Our creditor's gonna take shit back. But it's a little different when it's international and the nation because they either print more money or somehow the system keeps going. But in my opinion, what keeps it together is like minuscule.
Yeah, I've realized in my 50 years, I turned 50 years old this year.
Bless you,
yeah, and so coming from a small town in Corbin, Kentucky, if I had not have left there, if my family had not have left there and moved me to Jacksonville, Florida, I may be in the coal business. I may be doing, something for the railroad or something. Who knows what I'd be doing? But, since I was in Jacksonville, I joined the military and got to see a whole different side of life than what I could have been almost castigated to because of where I came from and the education level and the family. So, yeah, that keeps me up at night too, what the American dream is, because, who the fuck are the dream weavers that are putting the American dream together that is really unbeknownst to me leading into the next question. So I'm going to try to ask a new question. We're getting older. We learn a lot of things about ourselves. And so I want to ask you specifically about social media. We live in a time where in 1975, when I was born, we didn't have the internet. It was, I think it was invented in 1966 by DARPA, DOD. Didn't really become readily available until I was already out of college for the layman with AOL. But what would be the biggest thing that you would have, knowing what you know now, warned yourself against when social media, the internet began?
Value the price of anonymity. We become so connected and we know so much so soon that I think it's snuffed our when I say our collective creativity. Like I said, I definitely had misdiagnosed ADHD. I definitely was a bored child, but because I was a bored child, I got outside. I got to break shit. I got to play. I got to experience some things. I got to learn lessons because I had to solve a problem. The fact that you can put the question in Google and get the answer, on one hand, I guess that's great, but that should scare the shit out of all of us because we're losing our creativity as a species. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
If I could re-enlist right now and be a 19-year-old private again, I think I would want to get into drone warfare. I can only imagine how cool that would be to be a tech-savvy 19-year-old with a drone. Like when my phone breaks, I make my 20-year-olds fix it because and my mother calls me because she somehow can't figure her remote control out.
Right.
Like, something as simple as this, like, I don't know, Mama, how did you mess it up? So I think to say what you said about the technology, I think we're losing our creativity collectively, and we're going to pay for that generation from now.
Yeah, absolutely. I've said a couple times before that you said, what is the American dream now? And we used to make things. We used to create new things. We used to lay some hellacious infrastructure across vast areas and interconnect people. And I think now the American dream is kind of pushed more towards a lot of tech and a lot of virtual business now. And like you said, our bodies aren't experiencing anything, and our brains are overwhelmed with all the shit that they're literally pumping into us. So I'm getting to the point now where I'm 50, where I'm just like, I'm a Teflon Don, man. I can't let that stuff get to me because it will get to me terribly. So my American dream, I think, has changed to where I got to stop listening to all the noise.
What did I say in my bio? I want to get maybe 2 acres somewhere and be a beach
exactly,
and do hippie shit. Like,
right. But fuck the vegans, all right.
So no, I'm plant-based. And I'll tell you guys before we get out of here, I'll tell you the difference. Vegans, I don't even like them. I'll be like, listen, I eat what you eat, and I don't even fucking like you. So that I'm plant-based. Big difference.
Absolutely. All right, let's lighten it up a little bit. All-time starting 5 NBA. You got to go position by position. So I'm gonna, I'll say point guard. You tell me the point guard, shooting guard. Now here's the disclaimer, asterisk, however you want to look at it. Theoretically, you could put Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant as a point guard because for 2 or 3 seasons they played point guard, so that is acceptable. If you wanted to put Kobe at the 1, Jordan at the 2, that's fine. But I'm going to ask you a position. You tell me, and we'll go through it just like that. You ready? All right, point guard.
Point guard, shit. Isaiah Thomas.
Ooh, nice.
Was he a guard or forward?
Say it again.
Was he a guard or forward?
No, Isaiah Thomas. He's probably the second best point guard of all time. So yeah, you can't go wrong with Zeke. All right, shooting guard, two man.
Guard number 2 man. I'm gonna say Iverson.
Okay, gotcha. Can't go wrong with Philly people. All right, number 3, shooting forward.
Gotti.
Pippen off the bank, probably the best shooting forward ever. Maybe Larry Bird, something like that. All right, power forward, number 4.
Magic.
Okay, I'll give that to you. He definitely did that. He plays center in the I think second year of his career and won MVP. All right, and at center.
And at center, I'm gonna go Ewing.
Can't go wrong with Ewing. Where's Ewing from? He's not from Puerto Rico.
No,
he's from Jamaica.
He's Jamaican, but he played for Georgetown. He was a Knick.
Absolutely.
And I want to say in my disclaimer, this is one of them things you spit it off so fast and you realize who you should have said. So we're gonna keep what I got because I said it, but now looking back,
go back? Go ahead.
I would have put Oakley for one of my one of the forwards. I forget if he was a power forward or I think he was a power forward. I might have said Oakley. No, Magic. We're good. We're gonna keep it. We're good.
So if I were to throw a psychological profile at you because of your starting 5, I would say that you like hard-nosed, no nonsense, keep it real, do your job, but absolutely take no prisoners, kick ass on the court type people.
Yes. Yeah. Listen, I was a Sixers fan. I think Jordan's probably one of the best players out there, but I cannot, from a standpoint, I just cannot like Jordan because he was good. And because he was good, I know he had the work ethic. Everyone knows he worked hard to get to where he had. But because he was that team to beat in the late 80s, early 90s, when I watched basketball, no. I like seeing Detroit beat the shit out of Chicago.
Absolutely. All right, here's the big one. Who's the greatest of all time, Michael Jackson or Prince?
Jackson, MJ.
All right, why?
Longevity of catalog. I think the ability to pack arena. Prince, to me, is the most talented artist because Prince played everything. But Michael was the performer. Michael, there was a time when Prince, as he got older, name became worldwide. But Mike was worldwide from the time he sang with his brothers and the Jackson 5 or the Jacksons. I remember being the age I was when Prince was still considered provocative. My mom had his album, but we didn't listen to Prince. But I remember Michael Jackson moonwalking at the Apollo. I remember watching that in real time. I remember you said you're 50. I remember Michael Jackson Thriller when that was a VHS that came out. And it was a 45-minute.
I don't know if I'm crazy or not, but I'm pretty sure I remember them rolling a TV into one of my grade school classes, and we watched the making of Thriller and then the premiere of Thriller. Does that ring a bell?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But I remember real time.
PBS thing or something. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. Absolutely. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that answer. So here we go.
You knock me off of my feet now, baby. Papa's got a brand new bag.
Yeah, so as you can see, it's fairly close. It's getting much closer, 32 to 37 now, but Prince is still in the lead and into our 113th episode. So we don't ask everyone this question because, some people we ask, Michael Jordan or LeBron, but you know how it goes. So appreciate that answer. All right, so what can we do to get better? That's the 10th question. What can we do to make our podcast better?
You guys are dope, man. First of all, I want to thank you all for the opportunity to talk my shit and just hang out with you all. I love you all for that, man. I don't know. I think you guys, I'm telling you, you guys are the blueprint for me and Javon to figure out how to do things, right? We watch you all and how you put together your product. So,
no pressure.
No, man. I love the graphics. I love I love what you guys gotta say. I love what you guys got going on. I guess if you say one takeaway, man, maybe if a lot of veterans want to get into this business, maybe one day you guys have a little tutorial session where hey, this is one day we were sitting around drinking and Al came up with an idea to do something and we were like, let's do it. And this is how we got here.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. The senior chief is he's my CEO, man. So yeah, he's already got that stuff. Yeah,
because I think that's one of the things we talked about when I said the mid '90s. There were gatekeepers that you didn't know exist, but if you didn't know what to ask, you don't know how to do it. It's you guys have a very professional product. It's not a pissed off veteran in his truck complaining about the fact that women can have lipstick in uniform.
Yeah, we just complain about people jumping out of perfectly good airplanes.
That pisses me off too. I want to.
But we know it's veterans are the most sensitive. Listen, I've raised daughters, and veterans can be the most sensitive, temperamental people. And I'm listen, I have 16-year-old daughters that don't act like this, and we get sensitive about shit. How dare the Navy get a new uniform and not consult me? How dare they decide that, you know what, maybe it's okay to wear your hair down. I don't know. I don't care. At
the end of the day, we did what we had to do when we were in. So we followed those rules, we held those standards, and we upheld everything that needed us to uphold. And we led people the way that they were supposed to be. What I think is so hilarious is veterans that will go into these social media pages and talk shit to the people that are on active duty about how they're doing shit wrong, that haven't been around the game for even 5 years, you have no idea how they're doing shit, but yet you think you can lead better than them, but you're not there every day. Like, back up, dude. It's all good. If you really felt that way, you should have gone for the 30 to be a master chief or a command sergeant. You should have stayed longer. The fact that you left means you gave up your right to complain. You know what I mean?
And whether I like these kids or not, because yes, I think they're soft, but that's a generation. But when I came in '97, I single-handedly destroyed the Navy. Like, the Navy was great, and then I graduated boot camp, and all standards went to hell. So it's cyclic, right?
Yep.
And Vietnam veterans call me soft, and Korean veterans call Vietnam and World War II and Civil War guys and War of 1812 guys and colonial guys. So, like, eventually, and from what I know, right, these young men and women that are still answering the call, whatever policies that send them into harm's way that don't manifest is not their fault. They didn't lose the war because I had a beard or she had lipstick.
Yeah. The
war was lost because some shit in Congress didn't manifest, but that is not the person who went. So whatever, right? Never mind. See, I start ranting like an angry vet. Never mind.
But I mean, like, so there's pieces of that, right? There's pieces. Like we complained on this show. What was it? Time maybe a month and a half ago, maybe a couple months ago. They showed a photo at a painting ceremony for some Master Chiefs, and a couple of those Master Chiefs looked like they should have been at SeaWorld at that attraction versus being in the Navy. And it's like, how the fuck can you put those people on the stage and promote them? And now we're going through Chief season right now, and that same person that I've seen in that picture is now going to go in front of these selectees talking about you lied about your PFA. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, that is hypocritical, and you shouldn't do that. Like, that's the thing that we can complain about, right?
Yeah.
If you're talking about a standard, but
you know, sitting around
leading and mission decisions and what they're doing, they're like, we're not in there, man.
And even if we are sitting around, like I said, I worry about so I have Navy Fed. My check should have cleared yesterday, and it did. Didn't think if those checks don't clear, then we have a problem. But if, like, if I'm in the airport and Delta says, let's clap for these idiots who are like one stripers getting on the plane, I'm not clapping. Fuck him, right? And if everybody,
I'm showing my ID like it's active duty, and I'm getting on the fucking plane.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right?
That's what I'm doing.
And there's a couple times I've seen a couple kids, like, obviously traveling for school, and they were all effed up, and I was like, hey, come here, Troop, let me help you tie your tie. But because I'm an old dude. But I'm not about these sons of bitches walking through the airport with no discipline. Like, man, look, I have gray. I did what was asked of me. I kicked ass. It'll be okay. Freedom will be okay. And if not,
for sure,
somebody will have to deal with it. But, you know.
Well, I would tell you, thank you for saying that. And so here's the other thing I want to tell you, RL. So here's the deal. We might be at the end of talking to you today, but you have to come back. Like, there's no way we can stop where we're at now and not get to hear, like, the Army part of your story, the transition part of your story, the things you're doing now, like how you know what I mean? There's so much more that we can talk with you about that, like, this is just like halftime for that, if that makes sense, right? So we have to get with you after this. We need to figure out when you can come back, and we have to bring you on to hear the rest of it. Like, we're not done by any stretch. And also, just like we told Mo, and we tell every other guest that comes on here, you guys are family now, bro. You want to come on and ask questions, or you want to come on and test out your ability to ask people questions and get better for the craft of the podcast that you're creating, you're always welcome back, and you can do that anytime you want.
Oh, man.
All you have to do is send us a message. We have no qualms about letting anybody come back that's ever been with us, right? You took the time to come here with us and tell a story and tell about who you are and where you're from. You're part of us now, so you're welcome anytime you want to come back.
Yeah, and if you ever need some graphics, you ever need, like, any of the stuff that I do basically like the fast food version of graphics. But Matt, does t-shirts. we're on air. I'm not going to get into it now, but
if you want to hang tight after, we can tell you
we'll
about all the
put
things
up
we can
that.
do to help you guys out, bro.
Yeah, let's go ahead and let's have part 2. I'll talk to you, Arlo. We'll get you on there, and then like maybe you could you bring Wax Poetic something about what y'all are talking about on your show here. We'll work something out, but I definitely want to hear part 2 because I just think it's a cool thing that you had such a I'm going to use the word diverse because you used it, and we didn't even get into deep
and
state.
It was inclusive. It was equity and it was inclusive too. Let's piss everybody off.
Yeah,
there you go.
And then you and I didn't even get to some of the deep state conversations that I want to have with you because
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we got to bring you back
for sure. So yeah. I would tell you if you have
There's
the time,
no deep state at all. It's just a normal shallow state.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Bro, I got to work here, bro.
Yeah, right. Yeah. They still pay me once a month,
Yeah, right.
But, most of the time, a lot of people will jump off, but if you have time, you can stay in the green room and we can talk to you a little bit after if you would like to do that. If not, we can catch up with you, but we're going to wrap it up here real quick. I just want to say thank you for coming on. But before we go, tell us about your podcast. Tell us about what you guys talk about. Tell us about how often you guys release it. Give us the name of it so people that watch us can also look out for you guys and start to see what you're doing. And hopefully we can get you some supporters on that end as well.
So the podcast is myself, Javon, and another dude, Shaw. It's called We're Talking to You. It's geared more from a frame of mind from like the black male perspective in like barbershop talk, right? But looking at not what do you call it? Not, I won't say bullshit, but not like shit that like basketball games, shit like, no, like real stuff like politics, the system, understanding like a big deal was like black conservatism. How do black folks become Democrats? We really broke that down, like, because it is true. Most black people were Republican up until 1965-ish. So what changed? So we talk about stuff like that. And it's called We're Talking to You because really, we're 3 black men with 3 varied opinions. We're all veterans, but we provide that opinion to say, okay, because what we believe is one of the issues we have in this world, and I'll be quick, we don't talk to hear each other's story. We talk to try to convince you to see the world my way. And we're not here to convince you. We're just here to share. So, so it is very diverse. It does equal people, and sometimes it can be inclusive. So if things that are like defense equals interceptions bothers you, you might not want to stick around. But if you're okay with defense equaling interceptions,
yeah. Or if you just want to change your perspective and listen to someone tell you something about something you may not agree with, that is coming from a level-headed perspective to where you can actually understand it and have. And really think about it. That's what I know about you, talking with you today. And then obviously we've talked to Mo a couple of times. You guys do a very good job at what you just said. You're not telling me what I should believe. You're giving me your opinion and you're allowing me to ask questions so that I can understand. And that is what we're missing.
And that's why I don't fucking like vegans. Listen, plant-based. I eat vegetables. I eat gatherer food. Right?
Yeah.
Vegans want to shame you into it. I don't care what the hell you eat. Just be healthy.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you ask me why I eat the way I eat, then we have a conversation. Yeah. And that's one of the things we close out. We say we don't want to be right. We if you agree, great. But if you disagree, even better. Because it's more important for us to be correct than it is to be right. But again, I love you all for this opportunity.
Yeah, man.
Veteran to veteran, I'm always an inbox away if you ever get lonely and the nights get dark. And any veteran watching this, I got your 6. None of us fight alone. Reach out, reach out, reach out.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you, man. We'll talk to you very soon. We'll get you on as soon as you can get back on. I'll holler at you soon. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, R.L. Sumez.
And there you have it. It's just another reason that we get to have someone else that's going to come on here and have to have a part 2. I see that we're kind of getting to that arena, is that we're bringing on a lot of people that have a lot of good things to say. And fortunately for us, they can't get it all on. I'm not gonna lie. When you hear such a compelling story of growing up, you don't want to stop. It's like that's what I love. People are telling their story and they believe in who they are and what they've done, and hearing that I'm gonna brag on my shirt, y'all, but stories of your life are just like whiskey. The longer you live, the better the story gets, because you have more experience and you have more life and you're able to relate to more things. And so, I'm just grateful that we get an opportunity to do this every week.
Speaking of, those are some pretty nice shirts.
Yeah, go buy those motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?
Same flag, same oath.com. And there's the whiskey stories. There's the scan. I could take you straight to it, purchase it. All this stuff goes to a wonderful, wonderful nonprofit.
Yeah.
Let me go back. So the whiskey stories goes to
the Texas Veterans Athletic Association.
Right.
So they do sports for veterans, right? So they can be on a team again and they can go be competitive and do all of that, right?
And it's fun to watch, man. Like we've been out there. You guys have done even the firemen versus the lawmen versus the fire dogs, law dogs versus fire dogs.
Yep.
I mean, it's fun as hell, all the stuff that they put on.
Oh yeah, dude, it's great.
All right, and then we have the Wax Poetic. That'll take you right there. That's for Project Zero. They're getting ready to do their Kilimanjaro summit, and they're always doing the overlanding. They have adventure therapy, and then they have regular sit down and therapy for immersion, behavioral therapy, and all those kind of things that you do with the traditional therapists.
And
but this
every September they play golf.
They play golf, which I've got a slide coming up.
What?
Yeah. What?
It's like you already knew.
Yeah, something like that. But
you can skip the next one. The only thing we're going to say is Camp Hope's an amazing organization. You should support them, but the T-shirt is awesome. You should probably buy it. Never mind.
Yeah, it's an awesome shirt too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so scan me. Yeah, Kilimanjaro, I think. Oh, good Lord.
How did that get in there? Whoa! Do you know what I just thought of?
What?
Bro, I'm supposed to be picking fucking football games today.
What? No, the regular season doesn't start yet.
First game's this weekend, homie.
Oh, man. All right, we'll have to.
I will text you my picks, and we'll show them next week. I just thought about it because I was like...
We'll do videos throughout the week. That'll be good.
I'm good.
I thought I had a slide in here for it. But anyway, I'll show
all
that.
Good.
Yeah.
All good. I know you guys are nervous about me winning it all again this year, so it's cool. But we got to make sure that our man RL sends us his picks, because we need to do those guest picks this year and see if the guests beat us or if we're really that good at picks. So
no, this is bothering me now. I got to find it. All right, let me find.
Well, our future guests. Let's talk.
Hold on 1 second. I don't want to.
I'm sorry, Ty. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to do that.
It's all good.
It's like a squirrel. I just saw it and it comes out, and then I see it and I gotta go.
Yeah, let me take that off there.
But Al's not even here today. He had to leave early, so it's not like we could even pick him. But we'll get him to you, and we'll do videos. Be on the lookout this week for videos for our picks, so that you can see it.
Yeah, maybe we can do some funny shit. That'll be good. So, we said earlier we got the Danny Dietz Memorial cook-off coming up, and Al Hero is going to cook live in that. And then the following Monday on September 15th, it'll be the 4th annual Memorial Golf Scramble. Matt Johnson and myself will be out there playing. We'll probably go ahead and win the worst place again.
No. Listen, no. I tried to be bad last year, which means I didn't try, and I realized that I'm really not that bad at golf. So whoever would win the poop trophy this year, they deserve it. I'm not taking the poop trophy home again.
Well, I'm going to bring ours, and maybe we can make a video, and if we don't finish last, we'll destroy it, and that way the curse will be over. But
we're keeping it. I earned the shit out of that poop trophy, dude.
We have that 4th one. You know what I'm talking about.
No, I got 2 of them here. Remember?
Okay.
I had,
Oh, I thought I had 2. Okay, maybe not. But anyway, there are sponsorship packages. It is a veteran-owned organization. Like I said, Project Zero does a lot of things for veterans, getting them back out there in their tribe. That's their slogan, just get out there. So sponsorship packages, $5,000, $2,500, $1,750. You don't need your money. Give it to the Project Zero for the 4th annual golf scramble. Yeah. So all right. Now we can do the guest.
Word.
Sorry, I had to say that.
Okay.
Next week, we got Major Teddy Colgate for September. This Marine is a 7 deployment, and now he is the owner and proprietor for the First Coast Heroes Outreach Program. So looking forward to him. Anytime you see a Marine that's deployed 7 times, you know they're going to have a lot of stories. I love hearing Marine stories because they were all over the fucking desert during my time in GWAT. So looking forward to that. And then after that, we will have our second live show that will be taking place at the Danny Dietz Memorial Cook-Off. And our guest that week will be the Doc Carlos Calzada, also the proprietor of Smoking Los Barbecue. He's a Texas pitmaster. He's a veteran, and he's going to have some cool stories, and we'll be doing that show live just like we did. I don't know if I actually said thanks to RG Ruiz for at VFW Post 8790 at the top of the show for letting us have the show there live last week. Wax poetic about that, if you don't mind, Matt.
Yeah, no. So the VFW, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, everybody's heard about them. And just so everybody that's in our era of the military knows, it's not for drinking bingo and slot machines. They do a lot more than that. And they're community centers, they're outreach centers. They help veterans every day. And so they were at 8790 in Spring Branch here in Houston, Texas, was gracious enough to let us set up all of our stuff and keep them a little bit late last week so that we could talk with our guest, Chris Luna, about his career in the military and about him ultimately working with canines for heroes so that he can, be, paired with his dog Astro and what that's meant to him. And so we just want to thank RG and his team over there for, being gracious hosts, allowing us to drink their whiskey and do our podcast there. And 8790, they got a great hall. If you're looking for an event to hold, you should reach out to them. They have a golf tournament coming up at the end of September as well. It's on a Saturday, the last Saturday in September. And they also have a gala coming up that celebrates veterans. So remember, you don't have to be a veteran to go to the gala, and you do not have to be a veteran to play in their golf tournament. So there's another opportunity for you to get involved. We're just trying to give you guys all these ways that, for all you people that put the sign in your yard that says support our troops, we're trying to give you the way to do that, right? And we're doing that through giving money to nonprofits. We're doing that through sharing all the different organizations that are doing things in and around our city of Houston, Texas. But hey, for everybody that's out there, not in our city, if there's a veteran event going on in your city, send it to us and we will advertise that too. We will advertise anything that will help veterans. So just send it our way and we'd love to do it. But ultimately, thank you, RG. You and everybody at 8790 are awesome. You guys are gracious hosts, and we appreciate the opportunity to be there and fellowship with you and host our podcast there.
Yeah, I appreciate you doing that. While you were doing that, it made me remember a couple different things. So at the 8790, Dr. Lashandra was out there, and she wanted to make sure that everyone knows that on the 2nd of September 2025 at 11 a.m. at Houston City Hall, that's 901 Bagby Street, you're going to be able to go meet the newest military commanders. So you'll meet the battalion commander for the recruiting district for Army, Navy, Air Force, all the things. And then, it's just what's going on in the military in the Houston area. It's a wonderful thing to get out in front of. And I think I'm going to try and go. I'm pushing this on Matt live on the show because I think I forgot to tell him beforehand. But yeah, we should try to do this, bud.
What day is that? Tuesday?
I'm not for sure.
It is Tuesday because Monday's Labor Day, and that's the 1st. So that's next Tuesday, y'all.
Yeah. So
I wish I could go, but I can't.
Okay. But I'm going to try and go represent the podcast.
You got a pretty cool fucking podcast shirt to rep with, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be the all black one. I'm probably going to wear the jacket over it. It look professional as hell,
Don't worry, y'all. I just want to tell everybody out there, one thing I want to let you guys know is that we are, as we go into this 3rd season, we do have some new things that are coming out very soon. So just be on the lookout. If you're like one of those Where's Waldo kind of guys, you've probably seen one of our products that may be coming out behind me the entire podcast. But we have some stuff coming out soon. So just support us, help us support veteran organizations, and we love you guys. That's just how it works.
Yeah, and then so as we're doing this, I'll keep on putting stuff out. National POW MIA Recognition Day, sponsored by District 4 Veteran of Foreign Wars. That District 4 for the Veteran of Foreign Wars is the entire city of Houston, Texas. So VFW District 4 honoring the sacrifice, September 19th. The ceremony and reception will be held at the North Line VFW. So it's in recognition of POW MIA Recognition Day, sponsored by VFW District 4, and September 19th. That'll be a good program. Well, we're going to try to be there as well.
Yep.
And then, like you said, I want to put this out because this is also a veteran thing. They're having a community garage sale in the Tomball area. Thursday through Saturday, September 25th, 26th, and 27th, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Tomball VFW. That's at 14408 Alice Road. So that's a community garage sale Thursday through Saturday. Yeah, and then I got to give a shout out to Renee Escher for making this. She handed this to me the other day, and she's like, "Well, you mentioned this on your podcast." And what, Renee? Since Matt said that, that's why I put him on the spot there. So I had to go and find this. So I'm putting this out for Renee Usher. Community garage sale Thursday through Saturday, September.
Hey, Renee, hit me up if you need to make some cool garage sale flyers. I got you.
This is, come on now.
That's old school, bro. That's like 80s, dude.
Well, she's an old lady. I call her mom. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, she did. She probably drew this. So,
dude, there's time, love, and tenderness in that, bro.
Yeah, for sure. So, shout out to Renee. Get out there on September 25th through 27th at the Tomball VFW for their community garage sale.
Yeah.
All right, bro. So, I want to shout this out. Al Hero is going to be cooking live at the Battle for the Paddle at the Danny Dietz Memorial Classic cook-off. This is going to be at the Jellystone Park. The Danny Dietz is an awesome event, $50,000 payout, KCBS. If you can make it out there just to see how beautiful the venue is, get out there and support this veteran event and see some of these awesome personalities that are also veterans that are in the Texas barbecue pitmaster culture. It's really cool to see. So I know we've talked about all kinds of crazy stuff tonight, but that's about all I got, man. We do have Sergeant Major of the Army Kenneth Preston coming up 23 October and sports. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot that. That's crazy.
No, that's okay. That's okay. We're giving Al a couple more days to chat GPT, or as we all know it, call Dusty Rudd to get his picks, and then he'll get him in.
Yeah, we'll have to get Dusty Rudd to come in and do some picks. Weren't we going to do something? We're going to pick against every guest or something. And
that's what I'm saying. We just need to get RL's picks, and then every week the guests we'll have them stay on and help us do the picks.
There we go.
So that we can have the guests' picks, against us. I'm hoping we have guests that aren't really good at football because, I'm winning this year, bro. I'm ready.
Like we always do, man. We're producing the show as we're live. We love that you're watching the show every time. If you want to buy some shirts, if you want to support a veteran business, please go to sameflagsameoath.com. I love you. I love producing the show. I love being a part of the veteran community here in the greater Houston area. Hit us up. If you want to be a guest on the show, hit us up at triplethreatvets@gmail.com. I'm going to throw it back to Matt, and we'll get out of here.
Peace. That's all we need to say. You guys have a great night. We love you. See you next week.
If you or someone you know is in crisis, contact the Veterans Crisis Line at 1-800-273-8255. Then press 1.